Gather round, we got no gods to please. Saturday night, no sermons, just ease. Discussions flow like midnight breeze. No prophets here, just minds to tease. We talk big bangs and evolution. Question faith with our solution. Stars align in our confusion. Breaking free from old illusion. Join the fun, no need for trust. Dust to dust, we're stardust. No heaven high or hell to fear. Saturday night, we hold it dear. Fun and laugh at myth believers. Here we're all truth seekers. Open hearts and swift deceivers. Make a stand, no hidden levers. Raise your glass to reason's thrill. No ancient text, it's our own will. Debate till dawn, feel golden chill. Saturday night, we've got the skill. Echoes of a godless choir. Like the world, we spark the fire. Free thought mindset to inspire. No holy walls to take us higher. Join the fun, no need for trust. Dust to dust, we're stardust. No heaven high or hell to fear. Saturday night, we hold it dear. Join the fun, no need for trust. Dust to dust, we're stardust. No heaven high or hell to fear. Saturday night, we hold it dear. Join the fun, no need for trust. Dust to dust, we're stardust. No heaven high or hell to fear. Saturday night, we hold it dear. Fun and laugh at myth believers. Here we're all truth seekers.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Saturday Night at the Atheists, hosted by yours truly, Dave at the Captive Desk. And I'm joined so far this evening by Mr. Scott Duke. How you doing, Scott?
I'm doing fine. I can't find the unmute button though. No, doing great. Kind of weird. I hate to talk about aches and pains, but I woke up with a bad knee and a bad hip pain this morning, and I've been trying to coax it, to calm it down. And I've just now got to where I can walk without going, ow, ow, ooh, ooh, ow, ow. So that's always good.
My wife and I share stories. It's like, my elbows bother me. And she's like, so's mine.
Yeah, it's just that's the way it is now that I'm of a certain age. It's been a quiet day.
I wanted to mention that Mike is not joining us tonight. Mike's spending some time, I believe, with family members, going to the theater. And he had spent the week out in the outdoors, also doing similar things. So I hope Mike's had a great week, an enjoyable week, and that seems to be topping it off this evening with going to the show. So have a good time, Mike. And we also have a bit of news. For those of you that know AJ over at Ways to Human, link is in the description. I was on over in AJ's show about a week or so ago. I had a great conversation over there. And AJ announced that officially they became a citizen of the United States this week. So AJ is an immigrant, and AJ is now a citizen. And welcome, AJ, and congratulations.
Welcome to America, or welcome to being an American since you've been in America. Yeah, that's great.
So great news for
knows more about American history and culture than we do.
Probably. AJ's very smart and learned on a variety of things, and also great to talk to. So, yeah, happy to have you as a fellow American now. We just gotta learn you how to say American. And yeah, so Mike mentioned in the chat that he's going to the show, and Top Dog is here. And Top Dog wants to know, what do I mean by God? Don't start that, Top Dog. It's too early in the evening. What do I mean by God? Boogeyman. Used to scare children into behaving. And Icarus is here. Hello, Icarus. Nerdy Rodent is here. Hello, Nerdy. And I know there's a couple of debates that are going to be going on tonight. A lot of activity going on the internet later. So we're hopefully going to dive right into it and do our thing before folks start drifting over to the other shows. And of course, we understand what other shows are on, especially good ones. And there's going to be some good ones on. So in the meantime,
looks like Icarus is blue about not being blue over here.
Where's over on mine or on yours?
On yours.
We can drop Icarus a wrench, not a problem.
I think Icarus has a wrench envy.
Nerdy doesn't have one either. Nerdy should have a wrench. Nerdy gets a wrench.
Hell, Nerdy ought to just take over the whole joint.
There we go. Took care of you. And don't forget, Nerdy and everybody else, feel free to drop links for your channel or your videos or anything like that. You're always welcome to do that kind of stuff.
Now, Top Dog dropped a link in the side chat for a playlist he has put together of his music. It's on a site called Suno.com. I've not heard of it, but I'm sure all the kids and even young adults have heard of it.
Yeah, Suno is AI music, and there's Top Dog over there at the Suno, having some fun over there making tunes. And yeah, a lot of folks are making music, they're making videos. All the AI stuff's a lot of fun to play with, if you can get it to spell things right. One of the things everybody joked about was 6 fingers and extra arms and all that, and then that stuff's gotten a little better. But spelling, it's still fighting me on spelling. The thumbnail for this stream, Scott mentioned, he said, "Hey, I got this idea for theater marquee and everything," and I'm like, "That's a good idea. We can put the title right on there, So I punched into AI. No, I didn't want to spell nothing right. Just did not want to for some reason. Now other times, it doesn't give me many problems. So I was just about ready. I'll just Photoshop in what I want on the marquee, because it just refused to spell it right. It would be so close, and there'd be one letter off, or would add an extra letter or something. And then on a couple of the other ones, the marquee would be okay, but something else would be wrong, right? So it was spelling Saturday Night at the Atheist, SNATA, as Santa or Satan. It was mixing up the letters. So I'm like, well, I'll just 50-50 it, and put 2 together. And then lo and behold, all hail Bigfoot, it came out, we got a good thumbnail. And so it turned out good. And yeah, Scott that was Scott's idea. And I always appreciate ideas because, thinking of stuff all by myself, sometimes I run a little low. So people mention things like emojis and all that stuff. It's like, I'll make note of it. And that's why we got things like the new spray bottle, which is Spirit Away emoji, because somebody mentioned it. And we also have toast. And Ed from the Rabid Atheist was very happy that I have a toast emoji because I guess YouTube doesn't have a toast emoji. So YouTube needs to really step up. But in the meantime, you know where you can go to get a toast emoji? It's here at the captive desk. All you got to do is join and you get a toast emoji with answers in atheism on it. Nowhere else will you find that kind of emoji, I guarantee.
Nowhere else has answers in atheism toast.
Nobody else. And hello, John. Good to see you. Hello, Greg. Hello. Everybody dropping in. Good to see everybody. Yeah, we were just congratulating AJ over at Ways to Human. AJ's now a citizen, so congratulations, AJ. That's great news. And don't forget to check out the link in the description and subscribe over at Ways to Human. AJ's got good stuff over there. And hello, Trees. How you doing, my man? Good to see you. So in the meantime, we're going to get right into it because I came across this guy. His name is Michael Houts or Houts, Houts. Houts.
When it's spelled like that, I would pronounce it Houts, but it could be Hoots.
Yeah.
If it's Canadian, Hoots. I don't know.
Either
Houts
way,
for me.
Either way, we spelled it Houts. So Michael part I got. We can do that, no problem. So Michael.
I'm sorry. Just for a note, Mike told me that like 22 minutes in, he feels a certain way about what the guy said. So if we ever make it that far, we'll have to pay special note because
hopefully
Michael was particularly disjointed about it.
Yeah, well, I came across his some of his videos. He seems to make the rounds a little bit, and doing a lot of churches and stuff, and the usual apologetics and evolution, Big Bang, and everything. And that's the kind of stuff we talk about, right? So I'm checking it out. Well, I also came across an interview he did, and the interview it hit a few nerves. So I was like, okay, well, we're going to take a look at the interview first. If we don't get to his other stuff, we'll come back to it another time.
Okay. Yeah, there's plenty of time, and it'd probably be better to wait till a Saturday where Mike's going to be back because and don't forget if there was a favorite Saturday Night at the Atheist person or persons that we did review, and you'd like to see us do another show on them, except for Brad and the one last week, those two are scratched. But any of the other ones, usually I've got extra material because I always have extra videos of them. So, and we have done a few revisits on a couple of folks, and we've got a couple more. Mike wants to take another look at the Feinstein fellow we looked at a couple weeks ago. And one of the other ones we had too had a bunch of videos Mike wanted to revisit too. So we will have some more revisits coming up. But if there's any ones you'd like to see, drop us a line, drop a comment below, whatever, and we'll bring them back and take another look. But this guy, now when I listen to him talk, first of all, he has like zero stage presence, no personality, no nothing.
he's just real boring to listen to. And anyway, but no offense to the fella or anything, but when he's talking like creationists, typically, you just think, you're none too bright, are you? Right? And I'm not picking on everyday folks that get duped. I'm talking about these people that are out, speaking and everything, right? And this guy, he has legitimate degrees and everything. And you'd think it seemed like, be a pretty smart guy. He's got now, of course, he's talking about biology, and he's not a biologist, but.
Right. But all you got to do is read a few creationist books, and boom, you're the equivalent of a PhD. Just because you can't get through the system because they're discriminating against your creationism doesn't mean you're not smart.
Oh, that's what we're gonna watch. That's why we're gonna watch this interview, because he brings up a bunch of this stuff. But supposedly he's got a BS degree in mechanical engineering and nuclear engineering, and he finished out his PhD in nuclear engineering at MIT. Now, usually pretty smart people at MIT,
but not necessarily smart enough to stay in their field of expertise. That's where you get in trouble.
I guess not.
They think that, I can be an expert in anything if I read enough books and articles. Oh, sure, they're not peer reviewed, and sure they have the names Ham and Hovind and a bunch of other bullshit people attached to them.
Now, the I don't remember what her name is. The host of the show interviewing him anyway, put a little thing underneath the video, and it says, Dr. Michael Houts is an esteemed scientist with a rich background in mechanical and nuclear engineering and advanced propulsion systems for space exploration. Dr. Houts shares his journey of growing up outside the church with a strong belief in science, questioning the limitations of naturalistic explanations, and ultimately finding belief in God through a thorough investigation of the Bible. And here's the other thing. He's worked at Los Alamos National Laboratory, and he's doing research for the Marshall Space Flight Center, working on advanced propulsion systems for space exploration. So, this guy sounds like he's, doing a lot of interesting work and some interesting things. And then he goes totally the other way with a,
Let's try that new image on standard deviation.
We got standard deviation as a new member, and you are going to be the first one to see the new media for new members. And here it goes.
You rock, let's rock with the fire in our veins. Rock on to the sky, to the thunder and rain. All hail Bigfoot, the legend, the king. He walks among shadows, the wild spirits sing.
There you go. And if you want a video played for you, just hit that join button down there, and we'll play it for you as well.
Bigfoot even controls the lightning bugs.
And welcome, Standard Deviation. Thanks for becoming a member. And enjoy those emojis. And hello, Leo. How you doing? Sandy's here. Hello, Sandy. Katie's here. And yeah, I said hey to Trees, but I'll say hey to Trees again. Good to see you, Trees. Trees was out hunting water bottles and keeping us all safe from them. Make sure you look at the Trees videos. He's always doing some good stuff over there. And let's see, where were you? Oh yeah, and so he seems like pretty smart guy. But let's see, was there anything else I missed? Yeah, he's a family man and everything. Yeah, and then I don't know. He's got something wrong with evolution and the Big Bang, although he works in nuclear physics and propulsions and all that kind of stuff. So we got an interesting mix here. But yeah, he does. Hey, what's up, Dane? How you doing? He does have other videos, and that at first that's what caught my eye. But this interview, I thought we needed to address because, we have a lot of fun with some of the same old arguments here, right? And it'd be nice to hear some new ones. Sometimes we get a little twist on them, and that's always appreciated. But most of them, we know the arguments. But with this, sometimes it's kind of like public service, right? Some things you just got to call out. So I thought we got to take a look at this one first, and we got to call some things out on this one. All right, so we're gonna get stern.
Getting stern.
We're gonna get stern with Mr. Houts.
I'm sure since he's an engineer of some fashion, he will depend heavily on the information kind of stuff, like mutation means losing information and blah blah blah. So.
Oh, absolutely. He's even going to go there a little bit in this interview too, so we'll get a good taste of it either way. So I think this is the one we're gonna start with this evening, and feel free to drop comments on how you feel about what he's saying as well. And here we go with Mr. Houts. I think I'm going to call him Houts.
Welcome to Ex-Skeptic, where we hear unlikely stories of belief.
By the way, this channel is called Ex-Skeptics. So if you're no longer a skeptic, this is where you go to believe in Jesus, because I guess if you're no longer skeptical, you automatically become a Christian.
Hi there, I'm newly gullible.
I don't have any skepticism anymore.
Really easily persuaded by non-sourced or poorly sourced material. Can I join your group?
That's the impression we get from. Dang, I didn't write down her name. I think it's going to be on the screen. Sorry, I was more worried about what Mr. Houts was saying. Forgive me for not writing down your name.
Your host, Jana Harmon, and here.
That's what it is, Jana. Thank you.
Here on this podcast, we dive deep into the incredible journeys of those who have moved from skepticism or atheism to faith and belief in Christianity. In today's episode, we're exploring one of the most profound questions. What does science have to do with belief in God?
Profound question. What does science have to do with God? I don't think it's a very profound question, but okay.
For many, science seems to stand in opposition to faith. But what happens when the answers of naturalism begin to falter? When the origin and complexity of life push the boundaries of purely material explanations?
Uh-oh.
Today we'll hear from former atheist Dr. Michael Houts, an esteemed scientist who once believed that science had all.
Did she say Houts? I couldn't get a good. Did she say Houts or Houts?
I think she said Houts, but let's replay that.
Welcome to Ex-Skeptic, where we hear unlikely stories of belief. I'm your host, Jana Harmon, and here on this podcast, we dive deep into the incredible journeys of those who have moved from skepticism or atheism to faith and belief in Christianity. In today's episode, we're exploring one of the most profound questions. What does science have to do with belief in God? For many, science seems to stand in opposition to faith. But what happens when the answers of naturalism begin to falter? When the origin and complexity of life push the boundaries of purely material explanations. Today, we'll hear from former atheist Dr. Michael Houts, an esteemed
Houts.
Okay, Houts, like house. Okay. All right, Dr. Hoots. I'm just playing. All right, Dr. Houts. All right.
scientist who once believed that science had all the answers. Join me as we follow his remarkable journey of questioning, discovery, and ultimately belief. Welcome to Ex-Skeptic, Mike. It's so great for you to be here with me today.
And I did trim some of this out at the beginning. If you didn't notice, it was cut there because she was talking about business and everything, and so I did trim that out just so everybody knows. But, otherwise, I try not to do anything deceptive in the editing or anything like that. Just sometimes if they're praying or if they're, just talking business and saying hi to people or whatever, I cut that stuff out. So otherwise, you get it. And Ed's dropping through. Hello, Ed. How you doing? And Ryan is here as well. Hello, everybody. Yeah, it's almost like Dr. House. Yeah.
I put the link to the Gut Sick Given debate with Jeremy Bergman in the side chat. I don't know if you want to put it in the description, but figured inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, Erica's doing a debate, and then Dr. Chris is doing a debate this evening, and we got all kind of competition coming up. So we're gonna get into business here before folks leave. And it's good to have everybody here. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and check out our description. We've got everybody's links down there, as well as friends of the channel's links and all that good stuff. Lots of stuff in the description. Make sure you check all that out, including Joe at the Kentucky Atheist, who's heading up the ARC protest this summer. All that stuff's in the description. Make sure you check below. We need to...
Jail, I guess that's his username, Jeil, or Jail's asking what science will he refer to, and I want to post my prediction that he's going to rely on information. You lose information with mutation, therefore evolution can't be true.
I'm gonna give a little bit of way, just a little bit. Hello, Brainless.
Hi, sorry. Yeah, I was a little bit too busy playing with my new 3D printer. So.
Oh my!
Oh, sounds great.
Dave is going to demand a Sasquatch from you.
Yeah.
There's probably a Sasquatch model somewhere that is printable.
Well, that's really great. What are you making? Is there a reason for it, or?
Most of the things I've been printing are just for fun. Now I'm making a better spool holder for the filament. Because on this printer that goes on the back, and there is a model that you can print so you can put it on the side, so you don't have, when you're replacing the material, you don't have to reach all over it or turn it around actually. So yeah, and it's just fun. A bit of 3D modeling, and I like last week was Mother's Day, so I made a thingy for my mom. So
that's cool.
She's a kindergarten teacher. Well, she used to be a kindergarten teacher, so she likes homemade shit. And I enjoy making it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
Leo,
it's a nice
I sent you a link, Leo. And hello, Austin. Austin's going to join us in a little bit. Okay, we got something special for Austin. Magic Zoo Boat. We're all about Magic Zoo Boats here. Somebody mentioned we need a Magic Zoo Boat emoji, so I've got that in my notes. So we get a couple more members, it'll unlock another emoji, and then maybe we'll have a magic zoo boat. So help us get a magic zoo boat and become a member. And also, like I said, subscribe to everybody's channel in the links below. And that includes folks in the chat, like Look at the Trees and Ed at the Rabbit Atheist. Leo Phileas also has a channel. Austin has a channel. All these great folks in the chat. Make sure you check out everybody's channels and help everybody out. Nerdy Rodent, too. Even Nerdy Rodent. Nerdy's got an awesome channel. If you haven't checked out Nerdy's channel, it's one of the best channels out there. Seriously, great job, professional and everything. Unlike here where we just goof around, Nerdy does some good stuff. All the AI and computer language stuff and getting everything to work together. And if you go to Nerdy and check out his content. All right.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, it truly is a privilege. You are someone who is bringing a lot of gravitas to the table. You have quite the credentialing, the education, and I'd love for the listeners to know just who you are. Can you give us a sense of your history, your education, the kind and level of work that you do?
Really fascinated by space my entire life also.
Wow, I can't imagine.
Okay, I did trim that part out, and it was a matter of time because he's basically giving his bio. So to save time, I'm going to skip through it real quick because that was a really long part that I trimmed out. But just to be real quick, he just mentions that, growing up, he liked science. He wasn't a believer. Bunch of opportunities along the way, including getting into programs that he liked. And then what we were talking about earlier, he's got his degrees in engineering, nuclear engineering, went to MIT, working in the space program. And he liked to go to see space shuttle launches, skip school to see some of them. And that's where we get up to really fascinated by space my entire life, because we pretty much already said what his bio is, that he's a nuclear physicist, okay, but he likes space.
What sad thing happened in his life? What caused him to get depressed and go to the dark side? Like, if you're at that point, like, how do you turn away from all of that?
Well, it seems that it was. Well, I'm not going to give it away. You're going to find out here in a second. But this seems, that a lot of folks supposedly lose a lot of the creationist stuff when they go off to school. He seems to be the opposite.
The kind of things that you're working on now, particularly with the advances that are being made into space and even towards Mars, aren't you working on projects towards that end?
Yeah, it's really, like you say, really exciting, just across the board. A lot of work, NASA, industry, universities, other government agencies, just really exciting time to be doing space exploration. One of the projects I get to work on is just looking for ways to try to get to Mars and back very quickly. Of course, when you say quickly going to Mars and back, you're still talking about a year round trip time. But again, it's just just the possibility that we might be having outposts on the moon in the reasonably near future, or even outposts or colonies on Mars. Just really fun time to be working on space related projects.
Absolutely.
And I think he's very optimistic on how soon we're going to have colonies on the moon and Mars, but I
guess you want somebody with that optimistic energy if you're going to be working in the space program or contributing to.
Oh, sure, yeah. I want to go spend a night on the moon at the Moon Hotel. I'm all up for it. Let's go. But
Oh, not me. Not
Just
me.
realistically, yeah, how soon that's going to be? It's probably going to be a while.
No colony or space moon station will ever be safe enough for me as at my age, because I just don't trust it. It would have to be multiple generations and iterations of space station before I would trust it, and that'll be way in the future.
I think that he's not just optimistic about when we're going to have colonies on Mars. I think him and many others are optimistic that we will have colonies on Mars.
Yeah.
Well, and also one of the things is like all the things we need to live there and stuff, like those are things like, because like Elon says, like, oh, we need to get to Mars, we got to save humanity, but everything we need to do to be safe there are things we can use here to save the fucking planet. So like, let's first fix this before we go somewhere else and fuck that up as well.
That's always a good point. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's get into your story. You mentioned at the very top there that you
Can you
grew
pump
up
the
as a
volume up just
non-believer.
a smidge? It's just slightly low volume to me. I mean, I can hear it if I concentrate, but I don't want to have to concentrate all the time.
I had to bump this up already.
Okay, if it's all you can do, that's fine.
Don't worry. I think he carries a lot better.
And I'd love to know the context of that. Why don't you take us to your childhood? Tell me about where you grew up, your family life. Was religion or faith any part of that? What did that look like?
Yeah, so again, grew up and just really remember the fascination with science. Didn't come from a family where I was told to hate Christians, and I think that's really important today because unfortunately, there's some children are being raised in an environment where they are told that. So
Does he carry a lot better?
Yeah. And might I say, there's a lot of families that are taught to hate atheists and fear them and shun them. Don't listen to what they say. Don't watch any atheist material. So,
and this is one of those things. Like it seems really odd.
Yeah.
I mean, telling your kids to hate Christians. I don't know.
I think there's more kids getting taught to hate anybody not their religion than anybody taught to hate just anybody who's religious.
Yeah,
I think most atheists don't teach to hate. That's like, again, like there's no hate. Like
it seemed like an
Christian
odd thing
love,
to
right?
say. Yeah, it just seemed like an odd thing to say. Right off the bat, he just says, "Well, kids are being told to hate us." I mean, that's like the
disingenuous. It's a disingenuous depiction of the other. It's poisoning the well already. Yeah.
It's projection, because they teach to hate. And like the only thing you're allowed to love is God. And the only reason why you can love someone else
But
is
you
because
must
they
fear
love
God.
God as well. So yeah, stupid.
yeah. You gotta love him and fear him at the same time. I mean, just makes sense.
Yes, of course. Like
Would have been a
somebody that loves you threatens you, like, right?
Or else,
Yeah.
a much more challenging background, I guess you'd say, to come out of. But some of the first books I remember, they were all in hindsight, anti-Bible, anti-Christian, but they were really just fascinating. Concluded pretty early that science had just everything explained. Everything we'd ever need to know was you could just.
I was going to say, what books hate Christians? And then I guess it's the science books hate Christians now too.
Yeah, of course, when I grew up, it wasn't a quote-unquote Christian household, although it was more like my parents grew up in different religions, therefore they just didn't talk about it. And we had science magazines and science books around, but it was never, teaching that science explains everything. It just, the Science Digest, Scientific American, National Geographic. Sometimes we would get the Smithsonian. They would give the scientific explanations for things, but never said science has all the answers. But me looking back, if you had the scientific explanation for things, why do you need God? You may say, oh, you need him for the ultimate explanation. Well, okay, that's just religion. That's just maybe philosophy. But, you get the scientific explanation for things in scientific magazines, books, journals, articles, things like that.
And I don't remember any of my science books saying, lesson 1, hate Christians. I don't know.
No, but like it.
Maybe it was just the books I read. Yeah.
I think it has to do with them just not understanding, and like from him, I really don't get it, because apparently he did read science books, so he should know what's in there. So I think he is lying, but a lot of them aren't.
Yeah.
It's just that's what they've been told. Like, oh yeah, they teach you to hate God. No, they don't. It's just they don't even care if you do believe. But like, if the science books gives answers, every answer that's answered by science is an answer you don't go to God for. For that answer, you don't have to go to God, because the science already explained it.
I tell you who teaches people to hate God. Little story. My 5-year-old grandson, the other day when we were sitting in the kitchen at his house, just walked around and started saying, I hate God, I hate God, I hate God. He literally said that. He got it from another Christian kid at the pre-K that he goes to, because my kids take him to a Christian pre-K. I can't prevent that, so I just accept it. But so he's never heard anything negative about God from me. But he's gone around saying, I hate God, prayer is boring, all from the kids at the Christian pre-K he goes to. Mm-hmm. So that's who teaches you to hate God. It's other Christians, because they're the ones doing the bullshit things, that the families don't talk about, but that exist there. So
out of the mouths of babes.
Out of the mouths of babes. Now, I'm the one telling him not to go around saying stuff like that. Not because it's blasphemous, but because your teachers aren't going to like it. Your friends aren't going to like it. You'll be, at an institution like that, you'll get punished for saying things like that if anybody hears you. So don't say it, because people can't, people don't like to hear that. And I don't know if I gave him the right advice. It was kind of a spur of the moment thing, but I did not want him to think that was socially acceptable behavior in Texas, where the First Amendment has been put in the shredder. Not the Second Amendment, just the First Amendment.
Yeah. And we've got the Yetter joining. Hello, Yetter, and Michael joining us. Good to see you, Michael.
Yeah, especially around where you're at. I would not let my kids say that. And I don't even want to say, I don't like him saying that, but
well,
he makes a good remark about religion. In the back of my head, I'm laughing my balls off. Also, I'm like, let them have that.
All the stuff can come later, but for young ones, I mean, just some basic manners, right? You'll have plenty of time to learn all the ins and outs of all these things. But yeah, when you're, like Mike or Scott was pointing out, when you're at school or you're at grandma's house or something like that, you don't want the little ones being impolite, that's all. It's just
Yeah,
Some basic social skills is all.
well, like he's autistic. He's 13 now, and like he's just sometimes he just points out little things, and like or just blatantly says, "Yeah, I don't believe that," and
Yeah.
like yeah, no, like if somebody says something religious, and like I think it is completely acceptable to tell them that you do not believe that.
Oh yeah,
No,
I'm
no
just yeah.
fucking
Don't
matter who it is.
just
Like
yeah. Don't
I'll
don't
tell, I'll
yeah.
if the Pope comes up to me, I'll tell him I don't believe. I don't give a fuck.
Oh yeah. Yeah
And
yeah
like
yeah.
if he's decent, if this dude turns out to be decent, I'll treat him decent. Yeah, you know. But like I don't believe in that shit. But as long as you are decent to other people, I don't care what you believe.
Mhm.
You know, it's just
Yeah, that's one of the things that bugged me that's going to come up in this is telling children to interrupt class. And again, this is, well, maybe we should say time and place, right? You know what I mean? That there's a time and a place for these things. And when you're in the classroom, it's not to be disruptive, where we're going to get a different idea from this guy here. So that's where I was going with that, because it's going to lead up to it.
Learn from science, and so got more and more into science, and I guess did have early memories with people that were, I guess you would just say they would be affiliated with some religious group. I guess they did notice that even then that they tended to be the people that were nicer, or if you just were at school and you needed somebody to talk to, you could go to them. So that was probably my first, I'd say, real positive experience with Bible believers. Although again, at that point, I didn't really know they were Bible believers. I just knew they were different. I guess I just leave.
So Christian kids are the nice kids.
That was never my experience growing up.
Kids are kids. Kids are kids. I mean, the mix is all from all different communities and everything. I don't buy that.
So just nice people. And so you were growing up, and you're going to
they're
school
not just
very,
nice
again,
people.
interested in the
They're nice people.
And
No,
what
they're
were you
preying
being-
on the weak.
Well,
They're
and he's
preying on
talking.
the weak and sad people. That's
but I
not
mean-
fucking nice. That's fucking evil. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, he's talking kids here, though. You know what I mean? I mean, he's just getting up to high school. It's like.
No, yeah, no,
This
but
is-
at that
weren't
point,
you out playing or something?
Yeah, no, but also like, if at that point you don't know that those are the religious people, I don't know how sheltered you've been raised,
Yeah.
and like, I don't know
Well, that's what Ed's saying here. I was a Christian as a kid, and most of the shit I got was from my fellow Christians about not being the right flavor of Christian, so not valid for all people.
Yeah,
no,
but the point is, like,
I don't come from that.
That is because it's harder to convert somebody from one type of Christian to another type of Christian, because they already believe, and like, well, what I'm doing is good. But if you're an atheist, and like you can convince them there is a God, like at that point, you can put them in what box you want. So they're gonna be nice to the atheist kid, because that's what they get taught. That like, and like they think it's being nice, because I genuinely believe that at least most of them do it to be nice, but they're taught that so they can prey on weak, sad, lonely kids, and that is really fucking shitty.
Yeah, I say Ed points out, and again, growing up, I didn't have a lot of the religious hardball thrown on me. It was more of a cultural thing. But of course it's different, and of course, being naive, it wasn't until I got older that I realized, kids couldn't play with certain toys or watch movies, or Disney was all demonic and all this. Sundays with Disney, we gathered around the family with a bowl of popcorn or whatever, right? So I totally different perspective, and that's why I always appreciate hearing from folks like Ed and other folks, because that's not my experience. So I often ask people what theirs is, because I don't have those type of religious experiences other than going to Sunday school and, stuff like that. But when I got older, I just stopped going. What's up, BS
Yes.
Lewis? How you doing?
Ooh, BS. That's kind of similar over here. Like religion, there are some areas that are quite religious, but like most of the country is not really religious, and like some people are religious, but they're not as cuckoo as the guys over there. But still we do have those cuckoo people, but luckily not as much as America.
America's got too many of them, and we import them too. We don't seem to export any. We just keep importing more and more. So.
Yeah. I heard you brought in a few from South Africa lately.
Yeah, what? Why can't they just take care of their own country?
because it is not their own country.
Yeah. How you doing, Chris? Good to see you.
Hey, Chris, and because their country is not South Africa. Their country is most likely where I'm sitting right fucking now.
Don't they have bootstraps in South Africa? I mean, come on. Pull them up, folks. Pull them up.
Yeah, but hey, Trump just wants more Nazis in his country, so.
Yeah, somebody's friends with Elon somewhere in that mess. But I don't really, it's not important. I mean, if they needed to get out for whatever reason, then good. But, that applies to other countries too.
I know it's sort of off topic, and I don't want to drag it on, but the things that you'll hear from almost exclusively conservatives in the United States is that there's a white genocide in South Africa, and but they're all chanting "kill the Boer," and that means kill the whites, and that they're taking the white farmland when 3/4 of the farmland is owned by white people. It's not happening. The judges and courts in South Africa have said, no, this isn't happening. If you go read any of the actual media, no, this isn't happening. It's all related to something called the Great Replacement Theory, which is this idea that a certain group of people are using multiculturalism to get rid of the whites.
Yeah, we need to get rid of all the colors. We all have to end up getting mixed.
Everything should be black and white. You know what? Not even that. No color anywhere. Nobody. You know what? Nobody even gets to see. To take away sight completely.
There we go.
That would solve a lot of problems, but also create quite a few. But that's why we need the self-driving cars, I think.
If you took away human sight, we'd just all be bigots based on what things feel like. Oh, this is rough. You know how I feel about rough things. They would just switch.
Well, you're saying people are shitbags no matter what?
I think that's the kind of society that humans live under incentivizes kind of being a shitbag a little bit. Not a lot, but at least a little bit being a shitbag. I mean, everybody in here has been a shitbag at least one time in their life because you had some incentive to be.
Yes,
to be
I
a
read your
shitbag.
shitbaggery sometimes.
Nah, I've never been a shitbag.
I would never.
How dare you say that? No.
In your science class, in terms of things that just explanations for reality, for the bigger questions, and just for how
Okay.
things work.
Yes. So, at that point in time, it was, there were, I guess you'd say, be things related to the Big Bang, a lot of things related to evolution, the idea that life could just, make itself, was, mentioned. And of course, they phrase it much more technically. The idea that,
You think?
Yeah,
You know,
origins of life researchers famous for saying that life made itself.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Life existed before it existed to make it exist. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Of course, they phrase it a little more technically, and it's like,
Yeah.
you think, yeah, just a little bit. All right, Ed, we'll catch you later. Have a good stream.
Yeah. And life, starting from non-life, has nothing to fucking do with
Well,
evolution.
Evolution, yeah.
yeah, of course, it's always, what came before that, what came before that, what came before that,
And
what
like-
came before that. That's one of the apologetics word games
of-
they like to
of
pull.
course-
out.
Oh yeah.
They're-
Well,
they're
how do you
sort of
explain
related.
explanation? Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck it. Checkmate, atheist.
There you go.
I have Bigfoot for the ground of my explanation and being.
And I have Scott's big feet as the ground of my explanation and being.
But you're also importing fungus-ridden toenails into that. So
Well, that gets a Bigfoot Jesus emoji right there. And don't forget, if you want a Bigfoot Jesus emoji, just drop down there and hit the Bigfoot Jesus emoji. And if you can't, hit the join button, and then you can.
Ooh.
Maybe mutations and natural selection could somehow lead to information being added to the genome. Again, it was never phrased like that. So but just kind of this, no matter what question was asked, you'd have kind of a this I guess you call it really superficial, don't get into the details, type of response. Like, well, the universe exploded into existence, or but just never get
What?
into the details.
What do you mean?
Universe exploded. Well, and he's
what does he
talking about
mean?
ninth grade. He's talking about ninth grade, Leo. I mean, and he mentioned it right there. It was just a superficial explanation. Well, yeah, how deep are you going to get into these things in ninth grade science class? This is the point, like Hawaiian shirt guy brings up. Look, they've got this in this paragraph, right? And it's like, yeah, because that's what you kind of do in high school. You touch on a lot of these things. And then when you go to college, then you get one whole book or a stack of books that goes for that one paragraph, right? So it's,
I think
ninth
it
grade,
would be.
Go ahead.
I think it would be quite a bit difficult to teach. Now, I do think you would have maybe a couple in the class that would probably get it a little bit better than others. But generally speaking, I don't think high schoolers are ready to tackle something like general relativity. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Right.
But maybe we hold that out for where it's currently located, graduate level collegiate courses. I feel like that's a good spot for something like that.
Yeah, that's the way he's laying it out, that, a freshman class is going to teach you, all this advanced science. And it's just, well, of course you didn't learn it all in a freshman class. Hello, Austin. How you doing?
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Austin.
Also, we should.
While I eat here, and I wanted to do a little rewind real quick. When the guy was talking about how there are books and what was it? Books that teach people to hate Christians?
Isn't that in all the textbooks you have?
No. If anything, everything I've ever learned in school systems until like pretty much recently has been like 100% pro the dominant culture. It supports Christianity. It supports heterosexuality. It supports the traditional interpretation of the family. It supports, dividing people by age and all kinds of. In sociology, they basically call it ethnocentric thinking. The idea that your specific culture that you were raised in is the right one or the center one or the the normal one. So yeah, I have absolutely no freaking idea what he's talking about when he said it's such an inversion of reality. I think it's by design. I think it's kind of gaslighting. It's one of those things where you say something so absurdly, it's so the opposite of what's true that the person hearing it, their logical faculties are kind of rendered inert almost for a moment by just trying to fathom how deeply inaccurate what you just said was.
I think
But,
we
yeah.
should also clarify, just because I think it's good to clarify this at every point that we can. The Big Bang was not an explosion. Nobody's ever
Yeah.
thought it was an explosion except people who didn't know what it was to begin with. I don't know if you guys heard me groaning there, but if you did, I apologize. I broke my toe, and so moving around is really fucking difficult right now.
Ouch.
So if you hear me get up, and it's the second time I've broken a toe, and it's painful, but it's not like super painful unless you bend the toe in the wrong way, and
Just
then
the right way.
it's
Yeah,
like you're
absolutely.
dying. But
Yeah.
if you're comfortable and you're sitting, everything is fine. So if you hear me groaning as I move around, that's the reason why.
Well,
How do you break a toe?
speedy
I
recovery.
stubbed it this morning getting out of bed. I went to open my door, and I opened my door and swung my foot at the same time into each other. And it didn't like hurt that bad initially, so I would have never thought that I broke my toe, but holy God, why are you all asking, how do you break a toe? Oh my God, like, has
broke
nobody
it
here
recently?
broken a toe before? You don't stub your toes on shit?
No?
You broke it
Is
this
that just an
morning?
American thing?
Oh, well, stubbing, yes, but breaking, that's something completely different. You actually broke your toe?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way it's not broken
Oh,
with this
fuck.
much pain. Because, oh my God, I've stubbed some toes in my life, but this is something different.
Ouch.
But-
I mean, and you said this was this morning that happened?
Yeah. hmm
Dude, I think you need to go to a hospital and get
There's
your...
nothing they can
They
really
won't
do
do
for
much.
broken toes.
Yeah.
They can't.
They'll give you a boot.
They're so small. Yeah, they might
Yeah.
give you a boot to keep things straight and kind of, but that's it. And I fuck that. I don't need that. I'll be fine. And like, hopefully by Monday,
You
I'll
know,
listen up to move around a
testimony to
bit
my
more.
grandmother's self-discipline or whatever. I remember years ago, we were visiting her, and there were suitcases all over the place. And one morning, she was walking through her bathroom to another one of the bedrooms, and she was barefooted, and she jammed her big toe against back then suitcases were made of steel and really hard substance, and she broke the shit out of her big toe, and she did not curse. She did not curse at all.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
That door
That's
swung
a-
into
that's
my
a
foot. I was like,
curse word.
fuck you, stupid whore. You. I was.
That's how curse words were invented. Was somebody stubbed their toe?
Yeah, unexpected pain. Yeah, that's exactly what that's for.
And a lot more folks are here than were here earlier. I wanted to once again congratulate AJ from over at Ways to Human for becoming a citizen this week. So congratulations,
Yeah.
AJ.
You're. Unfortunately, none of us are safe being citizens. It sucks.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody, welcome to the
it's
fascism.
it's a tough time, but congratulations just the same.
You're
And the
joining
first
in a
thing
bit of a low
AJ
point.
did, first thing AJ did was pick up her voter registration form. So
Hell yeah.
there we go. Welcome, AJ.
Oh, wait.
And-
She probably already got her complimentary AK, right? Or AR-15. what was it?
She got
What was it?
the care
What was it?
package. But yeah, again, congratulations, AJ. And I also found some other news too. Austin was here before, and we caught somebody having a birthday, and he said, "Oh, you're gonna have to find out when my birthday is." And well, a little birdie came up on Facebook saying Austin's birthday is this week. So
yeah. You
so
figured it out.
Austin, you get a birthday song. So here we go, Austin.
Ugh.
Hey Austin, it's your day to shine. Another year older and you're doing fine with biology and evolution on your side. You light up the world like a star in the sky. Happy birthday to you, Austin, my friend. On this journey of life may it never end. content creator chasing all your dreams. With every video, every word you say, you inspire the world in your unique way. Happy birthday to you, Austin, my friend. On this journey of life, may it never end. From chromosomes to stories you always explore, may you have many more, many more, many more. You're a hero in the digital streams, a content creator chasing all your dreams. With every video, every word you say, you inspire the world in your unique way. Happy birthday to you, Austin, my friend. On this journey of life, may it never end. From chromosomes to mountains you'll always adore, may you have many more, many more. May you have many more, many more. Biology flows in your curious soul. Evolution's wonders make you feel whole. A fellow creator who's doing it right. You're a beacon, you're the shining light.
Hell yeah.
Happy birthday to you, Austin, my friend. On this journey of life, may it never end. To science and stories, you open the door. May you have many more, many more, many more, many more, many more, many more, many more.
That was awesome. Thank you so much. That's so cool.
You're welcome. Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Happy
you guys.
motherfucking birthday.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, see, this is the stuff AI is supposed to be used for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah. And it
Not
did a good
earning
job.
a college degree for you.
It put all kind of evolution stuff and YouTuber, and it hit everything I put in there. So
That's awesome.
well done, AI.
Yeah.
And fair warning, if you hang out here with us and we hear it's your birthday, you can see Austin and Brainless and Mike have all gotten their birthday songs. And if we gave shout outs last week as well with Tobin and Robin, and we played Tobin's Ohio Woods song because I thought that was more appropriate for his birthday. But yeah, if we find out it's your birthday, or if you know it's somebody's birthday, let us know, because we'll give shout outs for birthdays here.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Dave. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for saying happy birthday. And also, yeah, big congrats to AJ on getting her citizenship. She's an awesome human being. I'm really excited for her.
And you can also find everybody's links in the description, including Austin. Make sure you go check out Austin's channel too.
Hey, Dave.
Yep.
It is somebody's birthday today.
Whose?
I don't know, but it's somebody's.
Yeah.
Probably lots of buddies.
Yeah, but see, we need a name or I can't plug it into the AI.
Damn.
Just get a
Just put in the name Francine.
Just
Happy
have
birthday,
it go
Francine.
silent in the spot where it says the name, and then you can have all the audience just shout the name.
Just shout the names in.
A generalized one.
Little blank spot.
Yeah.
Deviant is here too, and Deviant,
Thank you, Deviant.
happy uterus expulsion day.
Yes, I am very happy to have been expulted from a uterus, and to be here with you all today. It's very good, nice.
Top dog. I'll get your link in the description. Where was I at? Oh yeah. So happy birthday, Austin. Congratulations, AJ. And again, both their links are in the description below. Go check out their channels, and as well as everybody else's panel members, everybody all in the description, as well as links to Bree's channel. Bree has merch over there, and Joe's channel at the Kentucky Atheist. He has merch. He has an affiliate where you can get a discount code, and Joe is heading up the ARC protest this summer. So you get all your information from Joe over at the Kentucky Atheist. All right.
It's in less than a month now. It's on June 10th.
July
10th. Oh.
July 6th.
Whoops.
It's 4th of July. It's 4th of July weekend.
The comments keep covering me up when you show them.
It's
I am still here.
It's 4th of July weekend. So the 4th will be on Friday this year. The protest is on the 6th, and that is on Sunday. And it's going to go on for a couple hours. However, they're going to do things before and after where everybody can hang out and associate and that kind of thing. What I think there's an event or a debate or something else going on in a nearby town too. So folks might head over there from that as well. One of the Atheist organization is holding something that weekend too, or something like that. Anyway, all that. Yeah, Joe's got all the info. So yeah, go to the Kentucky Atheist, and if you can't find it, give Joe a shout out or drop me a message, and I will contact Joe and try and get an answer for you.
Would how would that work, or does it work, or does that match our observations, or nothing? I'd say in that particular area, it was almost like critical thinking was actually discouraged, at least in the particular schools I was going to.
But were you buying into
talking high school still?
Yeah, I don't think he's gotten past freshman year.
I can already tell I'm not going to like this guy.
He's already what he's doing is he's reading his past life, rereading it, rewriting it in light of his I don't want to say newfound faith, because I don't know how long he's been a Christian, but in light of the Christian talking points.
It sounds a lot like those God's Not Dead movies with the evil professors at school just yelling at you, there is no God.
Yeah, I would like
he just walks in, closes all the blinds and dims the lights and makes it really dark, and it's really spooky and it's cold, and he's got like this big collar that's up here, and he walks in all like Severus Snape looking and is like, today, students, I'm going to teach you about the most evil idea ever wrought upon human society. We're going to learn about Marxism. And he's got like a British voice, even though this is the United States for some reason, because that's how evil people talk. Like, it is literally cartoonish how bad they think it is. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Well, propaganda is always sloppy, isn't it?
It is.
Can you think of any propaganda that wasn't sloppy and silly like that? It always is.
Well, now by now we know some of the most evil people have a quite American accent.
Yeah, they're not gonna have that old European accent or anything anymore. They're gonna have the American one.
That's
a Hollywood stereotype, because in movies in America here, there's often the villain is a very intelligent British guy who has an evil plan that's full of long and difficult words like photosynthesis and whatnot. They do kind of villainize intelligent people in Hollywood. Like, it's always some doctor or, Dr. Evil.
The next Bond villain's going to be orange.
Yeah, it's always something like the Academy refused to accept my research, so now I'm going to wipe humanity off the face of the planet.
Yeah.
So
I thought
he's saying that his classes or his teachers or the school didn't encourage critical thinking. I just wonder if in the background he's thinking right now, well, they need to teach the controversy, and creationism needs to be taught as well as science. But creation science is not science. It's distortion of science. It's misappropriation of science. It's lying about science. And it's not the same thing. A science class would not critically think with creation science. It might, like alternate theories within the scientific fields, that might be taught. It probably was, but I think what he's expecting is something like that, and that's just not realistic.
I would go even a step further, Scott, and say that not only is creation science not science, that it can't be science, because in order for something to be scientific, you have to utilize something called the scientific method. And creation science throws out the scientific method at step one. Assume the existence of a deity, assume it's the specific deity I was raised worshiping, and assume that specific deity created the living organisms on the planet the way my specific interpretation of this scripture says it did. That is not how science works. You don't get to start with the conclusion and then work backwards, cherry picking data. You have to collect as much data and evidence as you can, and then formulate your ideas based on that, and then develop methods to test your idea and see if it stands up to testing. That is science. Creationism is not science. It's starting with a conclusion and it's cherry picking what few observations you can to support the conclusion that you started with. That is something called begging the question. That's classic rhetorical fallacy, presuming your conclusion and then cherry picking only a selection of information to support said conclusion. So I would say not only is creation science not science, it can't even be science. So yeah, not only should it not be taught in the classroom now, I can't envision a future where there's a version of it that should be taught in the classroom.
Brian Stevens in the chat. Hello, Brian. Good to see you. Don't forget, Austin, Mr. Houts here says only creation science is true science.
Of course he does.
Or whatever field he works in apparently is true science, but not things he doesn't like.
Yeah.
It was great. I was, it was just another incident. I was, I think it was ninth grade biology class.
Yep. See, we haven't left ninth grade, Scott. Still on ninth grade. Now listen carefully what he's going to say about his ninth grade biology class. This is very telling right here. This is very telling.
Of course, the teacher was teaching about evolution, and what was funny was, by then, kind of had the same group of kids, that were in school with me and that I kind of knew well, and I was, sitting in the back of the class, wasn't paying too much attention, and.
Okay, so he wasn't paying attention, but
I love that line. He's here to talk about evolution being wrong, and he just says, now, of course, it's only ninth grade, but it's funny that he's saying, I'm sitting in biology class, I'm not paying any attention. And by the way, evolution is stupid.
Yeah, I mean, that's mind-blowing, Dave. This is the kind of thing I accuse a creationist of when they start saying things like that in a comment. And then they always make up some pedigree. Oh, actually, I'm a super science guy. I should have been Bill Nye.
Yeah.
I have a degree in aeroscience and space engineering. A creationist actually claimed that to me recently. At which point he was on his real profile. So I went on his LinkedIn and saw that he's a vacuum salesman and not an aerospace.
Well, that's the thing, though. See, that's the thing we were saying about this guy, though. I mean, this guy should know better, right?
Right.
This is where we got to call this guy out, because this guy has degrees, and supposedly he went to MIT. He's working at Los Alamos. He's working
where do you think he
with
learned to not do critical thinking? Because, of course, MIT teaches nothing about... In fact, they teach you how to not critically think. Because MIT is such a shitty place to go. So shitty. Not top-notch at all. Nobody knows. Have you ever heard of it? What does MIT even stand for? Does anybody even know what those letters stand for? No.
Malcolm is tight.
Massachusetts Institute of Technology.
Yeah, I was being sarcastic. It's a world-famous school. It's a very good school.
Yeah, it consistently ranks in the top 5, if not the top 3 for almost everything in STEM. MIT is the pinnacle of a really cool educational institution, in my opinion.
That's to say, this is not everyday folks that have been duped, by their parents or whatever. This is a guy who's well educated and should know better. And we've got Jester dropping a super chat. Thank you very much, Jester. My Christian chemistry teacher in a public school loved to hark on the fact that all the important historical scientists were Christian.
I don't
Yep.
know. If that's,
I hear that. I hear that a lot, but that doesn't bode well though when they're arguing against science, right? I mean, they will say, "Look at all these great Christian scientists," and then you'll say some like ones that worked on things like evolution, and then all of a sudden, well, they're not so great,
Yeah.
right? So again, they're a great scientist if they discovered gravity, but they're not a great scientist if they work in biology or cosmology or something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if it's actually a fact that all the great scientists were Christian. Maybe a lot of them profess to be Christian, but that's not particularly
Well, and
surprising.
it doesn't matter, right? Yeah.
There would have been laws that, made it basically so that you had to profess to be Christian or you would get tortured and probably even killed. I mean,
if the doctor walks in and says, "All hail Fonzarelli, I've got the cure for you, Austin," do you really care? You know what I mean?
The all hail Fonzarelli would instantly have my my suspicions raised.
But I mean,
but no,
the point is that you can do good science. Yeah, anybody can do good science. So I never argue that a Christian or any other religion can't do good science. I argue, the supernatural doesn't enter it. Yeah.
That wasn't what I was saying. I was saying that just the claim that all the best scientists were Christians, I don't know that was actually true. And it seems like even the ones that were Christians that did great science, a lot of them so there's two really good cases about this that I want to bring up. And they're Galileo and Copernicus. And they're both related to one another. Copernicus waited until he was about to die to publish all the stuff that made Christians mad about him, where he said geocentrism is stupid and the earth is the globe and we're in part of this massive, the Copernican model of the universe. He waited until he was he was already dead or on his deathbed. I don't remember which it was, but indeed he was slandered vehemently after his passing by other Christians and called not a true Christian. I mean, people still say that Copernicus was secretly a Satanist, just like they say that all the leadership at NASA are secretly Satanists. And tons of other examples, like Darwin and Newton, I see in the chat, the people who were actually theists who did science that undermined the literalist fundamentalist view of the universe and ended up being slandered and smeared by other Christians. So I don't know, even if you say, yeah, most of them were Christians, that's a good argument, because probably those Christian scientists didn't have a very favorable view of the Christians who mistreated them their whole lives for doing science. And then Galileo, his life was straight up ruined by the church for daring to do science that went against the biblical model of the time, right? Like he was big on the earth isn't the center of the universe thing. He countered geocentrism, and the church, they arrested him for that. They smeared him and slandered him. They treated him like a prisoner. And
they forgave him 400 years later, though. I mean,
well, I guess some of them did, but now this flat Earth shit is
now it's back. Yeah.
So I can't even give them credit.
Gone for that, full circle. Oh no.
No, but I think even like at the point where just in your life not being a Christian would be, well, not that much accepted, but like not a death sentence. Like at that point, we're still not allowed in academia if you were not part of the group. And like, they fuck all that shit.
I wonder if he'll get out of hell 400 years later. Hey, good morning, Mark Reed.
Hey, Mark. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Oh,
he's in Australia.
Yeah, Mark's opposite. So
it's past midnight, so for me it's also technically morning.
Oh, good morning over there too. We have people all around the globe joining us. We are international here at the Captive Desk.
Yeah.
The International Desk of Captivity. We're all captive here at the desk.
Captive until further notice.
The world is captive. Okay, now we can't see our little headlines in this view right here, where you can put a little tag or something like that under your name. But I went ahead. I don't do this all the time.
It's there.
But, I went ahead and put my educational credentials in my headline, my tagline, or whatever you call it, because I want people to see that I am qualified to talk about quantum science.
It's there. It's just small. See, now when I make it big, everybody can see it. See, there you go.
Yeah, because I'm really smart that way. I can study and get a PhD in one field, and then just rip the shit out of evolution. I'm qualified to do that too. If you didn't know. And then, as well as quantum entanglement, I can fuck you up on quantum entanglement. So anyway, people know I don't do this, but I just felt it was necessary for the community.
That's right. And it says so it must be true.
That does remind me of another point I wanted to make, Dave. You said this guy should know better, but I don't think I know MIT is a very good school, but the thing about that is that what they're known for being good about is like engineering, technology, computer science, stuff like that. I don't know how good of a biology program they have.
That, of course,
great.
That, of course, was the joke.
Yeah.
When I asked Scott, when we were texting, and I said, I think I got a video for Saturday night, right? And I said, guess what degree this creationist has? He's an engineer. For some reason, overwhelmingly, the creationist spokesman or spokespeople, I should say, spokespersons are overwhelmingly, it seems, engineers, and not in or not in a related field. Yeah. Hello, Claude. How are you doing, Claude?
Hey,
Good
Claude.
to see you. And we got tons of mice joining us. Tons of mice is from the area. Always good to see tons of mice.
And I did not go to MIT. I wasn't quite that elite, quite that upper echelon, but I did go to the Texas Institute of Technology. But for some reason, I can't get
really
past the filter. So I can't display it.
You attended the tits. That's what you're telling me.
That's right. Studied real hard there.
Hours and hours and hours.
That's an old joke, Icarus. Oh wow, I haven't heard that one for a while.
I bet it was really hard. Oh
yeah.
You make me want to play that clip, Icarus. You really want to make me play that clip? I don't know if everybody here has seen it.
I've got it saved somewhere. That
I know Scott has seen it.
Sal having a cow and Pastor Anderson getting tased are two of my favorite go-to videos of all time.
Have you seen it, Austin? It's the one where Sal is having a discussion with Nathan from Digital Gnosis.
Yes,
he's slamming the book
on the table. Yeah, another engineer with engineer brain. It's funny because it is a textbook example of a real kind of bias.
Textbook example.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad you caught what I was doing there, Leopold. It's a kind of bias called specialization bias. Generally occurs more in hospitals, but it can occur in any field of science. And it's where the field you're specialized in, you see everything in that lens. Like if you go to an oncologist and say, oh, my stomach hurts, they're immediately going to think stomach cancer. If you go to a nutritionist and say, oh, my stomach hurts, they're immediately going to think you need to change your diet. And the truth is probably somewhere in the middle of those two perspectives. That's why there's all this testing and data collecting that goes into science. But engineers are like, oh, this looks engineered. It was engineered. There you go. Intelligent design proven. And it is just such a textbook example of exactly that kind of bias, of just I know how things are built, so when I see something that's built, I think somebody built it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that these folks necessarily, got the right classes or anything, but they have access to it. I'm just trying to say, a lot of everyday folks just don't, and folks like this, they at least could ask somebody,
Yeah.
But you're going to see here what he's going to say next is they're not interested in asking legitimate questions. What they want to do is throw gotchas, and then they want to tell the kids, and I've seen this from Ken Ham and the rest, they're actually telling kids to do this, and this is what he's about to say.
And the quote unquote good.
Go ahead, Leo.
I wanted to play off of Michael N's comment there, because I see that a lot with like mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, chemical engineers, who are brilliant people, like no doubt. But they always jerk themselves off about how smart and skilled they are and all the technical knowledge they have until they look and see that a theoretical physicist has entered the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not. Yeah, obviously, engineers do engineers, whatever field the engineering is in, engineer it, right? But and any decent scientist should know that they know their field, and they should have people that they would reference you to talk to when it's not in their field. And we've pointed this out before about creationists numerous times. You get Lawrence Krauss and Richard Dawkins on stage.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to ask Richard Dawkins a physics question, and they're going to ask Lawrence Krauss a biology question.
Didn't that actually happen one time with exactly those two?
Did.
And one of them said something about it. Was like, wait, this is strange. You're the biologist. Why are you getting asked a physics question and I'm getting asked a biology question? Something's not right here.
That's why I bring it up. It actually happened on stage. Yes, it did.
And I love that this point is getting brought up, because the first time I went to school to get a degree, it was for physics. And now I'm in school for a second degree in biology. So I've studied both a little bit. And I can tell you, any engineer who thinks that they can disprove evolution is just a moron about evolution. I can almost guarantee that's their problem. But especially if they're religious, I know that their problem goes beyond just being a moron. It's like what Dave said.
Like James Stewart.
They genuinely aren't curious enough to learn, or they already know and they don't care. They've decided to ignore it. And what's even funnier is some of the creationist scholars have admitted it. Some of the higher level ones like Kurt Wise and Todd Wood, I can link their blog posts in a comment on the video later that shows them saying, yeah, we know evolution is true, but we have decided to disbelieve it anyways because the Bible. Todd Wood said, evolution's working model with gobs and gobs of evidence and on and on. And then at the end of that blog post, he just says, yeah, but we got to believe in the Bible God anyways. Wise said, oh my God, I learned all this science and I realized, oh crap, none of this Bible stuff I've been taught really works. I'd have to toss out this entire Bible book basically. And I'm not going to do that. So I guess I got to just be a creationist and, try and massage and keep the cognitive dissonance just far enough below the surface that it doesn't bubble up and consume me.
Didn't you debate T-Rock, Austin?
No.
I think maybe Joe did. Maybe Joe did.
Not in video, but we have butted heads in many live stream.
Yeah, I think he's like a fluid engineer or something like that. I think he works for like the water company or the what do you call it, the county or something like that.
Yeah, he also has really bad engineer brain.
Oh, he's terrible. And I see Vesta in the chat too. Hello, Vesta. Thanks for joining, everybody. Good to see everybody.
Oh, hey, Dave, just put me at the bottom because I don't have a camera on. Like, then you don't have to cover his face all the time.
That's it. We got Scott Bounce down there now, so
okay. We can
it's all
cover up
it's
Scott.
all good.
Yeah,
well, we can't let people see Austin's face too much. I mean, we're trying to run a family friendly show here.
Yeah.
What are you trying to say,
all the ladies will get hot and bothered. Yeah. Yeah.
You saying my face isn't family friendly? How could you?
You and I got great faces for radio, don't we?
Hell, fuck yeah. Dave, you definitely do have a voice for radio.
Yeah.
I know. I missed my era. You know, I should have been born a little bit younger, I think. And I forgot to say Austin's here. We gotta, let my hair down too often. It's getting pretty long too. So I figure we'll show off the hair here tonight. There we go.
That's slightly longer than mine.
For everybody that says, I didn't know you had long hair. Well, there you go. And it's even, see, it gets all curly and everything when it gets long. So, yeah. So does this. That's why I got to trim it short. Everything gets my hair is terminally straight. I can never do anything with my hair. And as soon as it starts to get long, then it gets all the body and the curl. And
I got the same thing. Like if I have just short hair, then it's as straight as you can get it.
yeah.
But as soon as it gets a bit longer, then it's But I brush it a lot, so then it's not as curly at the moment.
Yeah, all those years we used a lot of hairspray, because they had to have the hair all just, all perfect and everything. And mine just wouldn't do anything unless I glued it in place.
It's funny to me. We were talking about the ethnocentric viewpoint a little earlier, and I think long hair versus short hair is like a big part of gender roles in ethnocentric viewpoints. Like men are supposed to have short hair and women are supposed to have long hair. And I have had people, discount my opinions or disregard me or say, I don't care what you think, you long-haired liberal.
My wife just took some length off. She
liberal hippie communist.
She said, I want some of this cut. So she just took some length off. So right now my hair is longer than hers is. So but I've had short hair, I've had medium hair, I've had different hairstyles. I shaved my head. I've gone the full 100%. Spectrum. So
same. And then when I was in ROTC for like 4 or 5 years, I had to get my hair cut every 2 weeks. So now I just don't want to get haircuts all the time. I'm just not into it anymore. I had to get them so often. And then after a while, I started donating it every couple of years. And that has been amazing. It's so nice knowing that I've got this really nice, beautiful hair that makes some kid who's going through the worst thing they could go through in their lives just feel a little bit more normal. And
this has only been cut.
Yeah.
This has only been cut once.
Kids going through it because of that all-loving God that's up there.
Yeah.
Right.
This has only been cut once since I started growing it out.
Yeah.
And that was just to even it up because, when you first grow it out, it's all uneven lengths, so I had her pull it all in a ponytail and just give it the cut to get the uniform length. And that's the only haircut I've had in about 3.5 years now.
All of this goes down to my back and further, and it's only grown in about a year or two.
I can almost reach mine, Austin. I put my hand behind my back and it tickles my thumb. I can't quite grab it with my fingers, but I could feel it on my thumb. So,
I think I am going to go donate it again soon because it's gotten to the point where it's like annoying sometimes. Like sometimes I accidentally slam it in my car door or, when
I'm doing something and it gets in my mouth, that's what bugs me is when it gets in my mouth. But
I have a question for you two long-haired freaks. Do either of you two blow trees?
You mean 3 long-haired freaks?
I have enjoyed the to partake from time to time in the past. I don't as frequently anymore, but every now and then, I does have a little relaxing, little
powwow,
little safety meeting is what we used to call them back in the day to keep them secret.
Yeah, I grew up with a steamroller with a paper towel roll. So, and I say that we were just talking about it the other day. It's like, you don't know how easy you have it nowadays going to a dispensary. I used to have to drive into shady neighborhoods in the middle of the fucking night.
I've been there, my friend.
They were asleep during the day. And the things we did, man. We shouldn't have gone some of the places we did. I mean,
it's amazing how we're still alive, isn't it?
It is. I mean, we were, seriously sweating bullets going to some of these places just to get a dime. I mean, it was just ridiculous. And hey, we got deconverted man in the house.
Hi. Yeah. So I don't know if any of you guys knew Wildwood Claire.
Yeah, I saw your post.
Yeah. So just wanted to say that again here that I just heard about this. I don't know how long she's been gone. I don't know any info other than she's gone. So brilliant mind. Lots of content on her channel to check out. Geologist, scientist, very much like a grandmother type figure, and certainly her legend now begins. So let's celebrate her legacy however we can. So that's all I had to say about that.
Yeah, our condolences go out to her family, and it's always sad to hear about losing someone in the community and a great content creator.
Yeah.
Sorry to bring the vibe down, but
It's
hey,
shit.
sometimes that's needed.
Yeah. Mortality sucks, as my friend said. Mortality sucks.
They actually started to get it.
It's part of knowing everybody around. Now and then, we lose some folks. We just lost mom over at Glober Mom.
Yeah, Glover Mom. Yeah.
We just lost Glover Mom, and
I miss that crazy bitch.
yeah, and a lot of us were taken aback when Bill Ludlow passed unexpectedly, and it's
great.
Give our hearts out to the family, indeed.
Yeah.
Well, what's this potato head here talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, he's about to get good about his 9th grade biology class.
Yeah.
A little bit with the biology teacher, and so that was that was exciting. I mean, I know it sounds really bad, but it's almost like, okay, the good kids are getting in trouble, so this must be really interesting. And so you start paying attention. But then I noticed they were making points, but they're doing it very respectfully. Kind of speak the truth in love, but respecting their elders. But the teacher actually was ridiculing them. I mean, he was really calling them names, belittling them, and that really struck me as odd.
Strikes me as odd too. I've seemed to have seen that somewhere before in a really bad Christian movie, like God's Not Dead. Seriously, has anybody ever been in a classroom where the teacher was standing up and telling people to be atheist? I mean,
No, but I have been in classrooms where teachers said that evolution is a lie meant to lead people away from God, and that it was coined by Satan, and that if you believe it, you're going to hell.
Every time I hear these things, I'm like, I just really, I mean, seriously, it's like, are there litter boxes in the corner too? It's just
Yeah. The opposite kind of happened one time in history class. The teacher decided, for whatever reason, to try to teach the Bible as just just like a work of fiction, just another book to talk about or whatever. And I was a Christian, so that offended me at the time. I left, and there was a bunch of other kids that had left because they didn't want to hear that. And the principal happened to not be there today. We were like, this is not right. And when the principal did come back, they were like, yeah, no, I shut that down. Sorry about that. It's not going to happen again. And it's like they're not, we're not going to talk about the Bible pro con any, even neutral. It's just not happening. And I was like, yeah, so even as a person that was in the faith of Christianity at the time, it offended me because like you can't treat this like a normal book, because those were my beliefs back then. And so, yeah, it's better just keep it out of schools, completely. So, and same would go for saying, there is a God, there isn't a God, or anything like that. So leave it out of the school. It's not.
The only classroom where it would be, in my opinion, acceptable to talk about these things is a philosophy class.
Yeah,
It's the only
philosophy
class.
or religion class, comparative religion studies.
Yep.
It wasn't until college when I had a English teacher who every now and then would bring up God, and he's like, "Look, I'm not saying, I'm not here to tell you there is or isn't one. If you have questions about that, we could talk about it or whatever." And he used God because he was trying to teach this thing called critical analysis, which required you to really think about stuff and dive in kind of a poetic way of understanding the meta understanding kind of subtext of the subtext, if you will, to whatever you were reading, to really interrogate it. And so he'd bring up topics.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, he'd bring up topics like gun control or whatever that he knew would be inflammatory, I guess might be a word.
Yeah.
And so God was one of those topics. And so he was like, we're going to talk about these things because that's part of critical analysis, and that's part of and I'm like, we're not here to learn how to write essays. Like, no, he's like, no, we're here to understand what the thing says. I'm like, okay, I like this.
We've got Scott's bouncing in and out. He's got storms in his area, so just so everybody knows, you see Scott bouncing in and out. That's why.
Yeah, and I've started to get to the point where, like, I'm actually almost getting like annoyed of metaphysics. I'm like sick of metaphysics. I'm like, metaphysics is stupid. I'm tired of it.
I feel that.
Can I ask a quick question?
And then you say things like that, and it reminds me that no, I'm not tired of metaphysics. I'm tired of presuppositionalists using metaphysics, and it just in the most blunt, idiotic way possible.
Yeah, there's good ways and bad ways to use it, right?
We were just having the discussion on Simos's channel. He's doing his show on Thursdays now, on Unraveling the Onion, I think it is. And they were talking about philosophy, and we were bringing up that, there's useful tools, and one of them is philosophy, but that with the precepts and everything, and especially the internet crowd running around, they're just using it as a club over people's heads. They're not using it to explore anything. They just want to win an argument.
Yeah.
I bet that's just not philosophy.
Most of them couldn't tell you what the core three things philosophy is about are if you ask.
That's the point. It's not a discussion anymore. It's it's just a like we said, instead of using it as a tool, they're just using it as a club over someone's head.
Can anybody here name the three? I bet Leo can. I think I've actually heard you do it before, Leo.
Well, I mean, I would just say that the areas that philosophy tends to focus on are going to be logic, epistemology, metaphysics, aesthetics. And aesthetics would include like things like ethics, because ethics is value-based, and that's what aesthetics deals with, is values.
You killed it. You slaughtered it. You smoked it. You gave it. I was just looking for knowledge, beauty, and morality. Those are the three. Yeah. It all kind of falls under those three.
Yeah. Also, I do want to say, because I think it's important, is particularly when we, if we're ever in discussions with not even just presuppositionalists, but theists who are using, or oftentimes more appropriately abusing philosophy, is that most philosophers are not theists.
Yeah.
I think if you survey just metaphysicians, I actually think the number goes up a little bit more. Modern analytic metaphysics is not friendly to at least classical theism. More modified versions might be able to get away with a little bit more than classical theism would, but they still, don't make a lot of sense. Like metaphysicians just don't give a shit about God. Most of them think that's probably not something that's real. And even if it were, it's just not relevant to what we do with respect to trying to understand our reality. It's just not.
Yeah.
I think another important thing too is that philosophers, they're not trying to do science. They're not. It's a tool, but it's not. I guess some philosophers are trying to do science because philosophy is better when it has scientific evidence to substantiate it. But philosophy isn't explicitly about doing something scientific. It's about, I wouldn't say it's about explaining the natural world, which is kind of what science is more about.
Oh, Tangelo throwing some shade. Oh, oh Tangelo.
Tangelo doesn't understand even what just modality is broadly, so I don't think his opinion with respect to philosophy or metaphysics is relevant here.
I just got a notification of a new subscriber too, so thank you for subscribing. Welcome aboard.
Hey, what about that? That song, that.
What would it mean? What would it mean to be destroyed philosophically? Let us pontificate upon this. No.
We drop
You get your ass beat outside of Plato's cave.
We got you got it.
But
Let's rock with the fire in our veins. Rock on till the skies, till the thunder and rain. All hail Bigfoot, the legend, the king. He walks among the shadows, the wild spirits sing.
Welcome aboard.
what the bleep was
New
that?
members, new subscribers. That's the welcome aboard video. So welcome aboard.
Scared the bleep out of me.
Good. It's supposed to get your attention. My
I mean,
voice
it's almost
is
as
my.
annoying as somebody yelling their name at the start of every video or something.
I know my voice is soothing, and I've known to put a few people off and into Never Land. So every once in a while, we got to make sure we're keeping your attention.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, I'm quite awake at the moment, so you're not putting me to sleep today. But
Oh, well, hold on.
It has happened. It has happened.
Well, hold on. We're gonna listen to some more. So you bite your tongue.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't. I didn't know or care, if they were right or wrong. It was just kind of just the attitudes involved. And so I would say a couple of things on that. For Christians that might be watching this, it's really important to do what the Bible says. In other words, don't just defend what the Bible says, but do what the Bible says. And part of that is speaking the truth in love, always showing respect, always treating people with respect. And so,
And not wearing mixed fabrics.
Yeah, otherwise known as don't interrupt class. Okay, this is what he's saying. He wants kids to interrupt class. Okay, now I've pointed out. Now it's one thing if you're in high school. But let's say you're in college. Okay, and Austin can relate. You're spending a buttload of money to be taught a subject, and you've got the good Christian student showing love in Jesus interrupting the class. Now, Austin, do you think you'd be getting your money's worth, or would you be saying, you know what? Sit down and shut up. I'm not paying to hear you. I'm paying to hear the professor.
I don't think you want to hear what I would actually say because it might cause problems.
Now, obviously, if this is a debate class or something like that, that's a whole other thing, right?
Sure.
We're talking about when you're paying to learn something, and let's say it's important, like nursing or becoming a doctor, and you should be actually listening to the professor, and you have the good Christian child standing up and saying evolution's stupid and I want to argue with the teacher and disrupt class, and you're looking at your clock saying this is my time, right?
I am literally the person who's made it my job to kind of like interact with creationists, although that might change because I'm getting sick of it. But in a classroom, there's no fucking way. I'm not even going to debate you in there. I'm going to tell you to shut the fuck up and let the speaker talk.
And again, and even in public school, again, a lot of kids might not, get the opportunity to go to college. So this is their exposure sit down and shut up. You know, I mean, now I got bounced out of class a couple times for running my mouth, but it was never for correcting the teacher. It was just for clowning around, you know. I don't remember anybody standing up and saying, "Oh, well, teacher, I know better than you because my parents read the Bible and they said to stand up and interrupt class and tell you don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah.
Teacher, yes. What kind of saddles did they use to ride the Tyrannosaurus Rex?
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. I think it's like
early on those.
Yeah, I don't think it's something that actually happens so much, although I have seen it happen once or twice. I think what it is Christians, they share these chain emails where some self-important liberal professor standing up in front of the classroom and says, "If there's a God, have him come shove me off this stool right now." And then a big Christian Marine gets up and he walks up and he punches the smug professor in the face. And he says, "God was busy, so I came here when I did it." And everybody stand up and everybody clapped. And it's like, it's so obviously it's fan fiction. It's a made up story that didn't actually happen. But boomers love it, especially like the theist boomers. And so they I think they say things like this just to help perpetuate their belief that they have that things like that actually happen. Because I don't think anything's ever.
I don't think they do either.
This one,
I didn't think Smokey Saint was still around. I see. Smokey.
I don't think that's the real Smokey Saint.
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
There was this one,
but I see him in the chat.
Very strange philosophy teacher that I remember having, who said, "Just write down God is dead on the card." This one guy got up, he started complaining and and I was like, "Oh man, I hope something bad happens to this guy." But nothing bad happened to him. Everything good happened to him. Turned out the teacher, wait, no, that was a movie. That didn't happen for real.
Yeah. That's the plot of the first God's Not Dead movie, which is absurd because basically the philosophy teacher is saying, "Let's skip that stupid dumb part where I teach you philosophy. Who wants to do that in a philosophy class?
Yeah.
You just agree with my conclusion, and and it's a totally irrelevant conclusion. Like it's very bizarre."
It's like when Ray Comfort and the rest of them say, I was on a plane and I sat down to this next to a biology professor, and boy, did I school them, and I'm like, that never happened, it never happened.
Yeah, I sat down next to this here biology professor, and I saw him working on his stuff there, and I just said, "Hey, mate, you ever observed the change of coins?"
You're going to hell. You're going to hell.
This pastor with his
sorry, Mark. Sorry, I was doing it bad on purpose.
with his quote unquote skeptic course until he changed the name of it, had done the plane, sat next to somebody on a plane two different times, and then he also told the story about a friend of his that had been murdered, and there was a shock outline, and I'm like, there's no shock outlines. They don't do that for real. That's a movie thing. So I was like, well, you already made up these other stories, so I think that one's made up. And he was really mad. He sent me proof that this guy had really died, and I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, that's what you get for making up stories. I mean, anyways.
That's why I said, the video I came across of this guy was just, repeating a lot of the same, things, but. Yeah, this part really bugs me because this is the kind of stuff where it's like you're going out of your way just to make things up. You're not even misrepresenting science anymore. You're just making things up that these evil teachers are teaching the evolution, and these books and these groups, they're teaching them to hate Christians, and it's and I'm like. And this is, he's on this, Christian channel, and she's got a decent amount of, viewers, and this is what they're hearing too, Not only is he going around, I spotted him going to little churches around, he seems to make the rounds.
Well,
but yeah, he's doing this stuff too. His name is Michael Houts.
Oh well, we're talking about the okay. No, okay.
Would he be, with it, this sort of thing would they be okay with a different Christian that, first of all, says there's some Peter thing, this forget what it's called, but like non-canonical Peter scripture thing that he read. And he's convinced that Jesus isn't God. There's no Trinity, and also the world's flat because, of course, it is. And we didn't go to the moon, and and so would he be okay with that Christian standing up and interrupting him and say, "Hey, what about this?" The problem is you're not going to necessarily get the type of Christianity that you want. So once you open that floodgate.
There's a ton of creation myths besides just Christian ones. There's Native American
Muslims?
creation myths. There's Muslim.
Well, that's another false thing they set up all the time. Like Ken.
Did you guys see that debate?
Just
The
theirs.
Christian creation myth is the coolest one. I really like the Egyptian one. I think the Egyptian one is way cooler than the Christian one.
That's what they set up, that it's Christianity against the world. And it's their creation myth against science. Yeah, forget all the other religions, forget all the other creation myths. Yeah.
Happened to catch the debate between just while we bring up Muslim creationists, the debate between Professor Dave and Dennis Noble. I mean Subur Ahmad.
Yes.
Dennis Noble.
Yes.
Yeah, we saw that debate and we had thoughts. We did a whole stream about it.
I can't remember if it was Professor Dave in the one response video that he did after the debate, or I think it was. But he did a section where it was literally nothing, but every time.
Well, I remember way back when he was
Dennis Noble.
Yeah, he was making the video talking about
Dennis Noble.
Yeah, he was like a year ago or something. He was talking about this Sabur guy keeps emailing me. And we'll look at all these ridiculous conditions. And he's just, and by the way, I got to fly my ass to England to debate the guy. What's up with this? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So it's been going on for a while. Yeah.
I saw.
and it's good to see you, the trusty ape. Hello, Kevin. Good to see you.
Yeah. I saw a summation in the comments of the debate that I thought summed it up perfectly, which was like Sabor's debate tactics. They were, one, of course, evolution is true. Also, evolution is not true because God, Dennis Noble, and casual racism. That's pretty much all he brought to the debate. Because there was a portion of the debate where he was just hurling, I think it's an anti-Indian slur, like mostly it applies to people from India or Pakistan or something. I don't want to.
Would you be willing to type it in the private chat? I don't remember. Well, there's a word I'm thinking of.
He was real stuck on Noble and that like he's the end all authority or whatever.
It wasn't the P word, was it?
Yes, it was.
Oh yeah, okay, yep.
It's like Third Reich level shit. It's fucking garbage. It's Nazi shit.
Well, I ran into Sabur one time, and he's just annoying. So we'll leave it at that.
He's terrible. I loathe
really making the impressions on me. But the way it was presented, I guess that was what was so shocking is you didn't really click then, but it was just kind of like, okay, no other subject. I mean, if someone had a question in math class, they'd never get that kind of response from a teacher, even if it was a really silly question.
That's because no teacher called the kid names because they asked a question. If anything, they said, see me after class or something like that. Or, I know somebody you can talk to, or maybe you should talk to your pastor, ask your parents. That's the response I'm hearing from a teacher. I'm not hearing name calling, although, back in the day, we had a few teachers that just might call you a name. But you know what? That person deserved it because you know what? They were a clown interrupting the class. That's what it was. And this is
they were being an uppity.
Oh, wow. I was just going to say, I'm getting the kind of degree where I might end up teaching a class about biology or evolution. And I know what my response would probably be to a student in a class I was teaching saying something like that. I would probably just say, that's great. Moving on. and just continue my lesson. I
Exactly.
wouldn't argue with them at all because just shut up. I'm trying to teach, and you
Well,
can
but,
think whatever
you know,
you want. If you
well, I
want
don't
to
wanna
waste your money
well, don't-
being in my classroom and time, you fine. Just don't listen to me. But I'm
Right.
just going to try and teach the kids who are there to actually want
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
learn.
You know, that was my, my point. It's like, if a kid generally, I don't want to discourage them learning anything, including about religions, but there's, again, like I said earlier, there's time and place, you know what I mean? And you say, hey, that's, look, right now we're teaching this lesson. Okay. Stop by after class. I know somebody you can go talk to, and send them over to the theology professor. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Whatever it is, we don't want to shut down any kids that are asking questions, but when they're doing it just because their parents or Ken Ham told them, just stand up and interrupt class, then you have to deal with it. And it's time and place. It's like, look, I'm teaching right now and all these other students are here to learn this. If you have these questions though, I'll help direct you to somebody. See me after class, right? Not right now.
Yeah, I think
go see what do they call counselors? That's what counselors are for, right?
I think any students that are actually doing this kind of thing, they'd probably be doing it because Ken Ham or Ken Hovind told them that.
Told them to. Exactly.
Probably not so much this comfort. I don't think anyone.
But that's what he's doing. He's going to churches.
Yeah,
he's going to churches and he's telling them, have your kids interrupt class because it's stupid. That's what he's doing. And this is why I wanted to point it out, that it's not so much their lame arguments, but this is what else they're doing. They're telling kids and remind you, he said earlier, these are the good Christian kids. Well, I don't think a good kid should be disrupting class, because whatever the disrupting class should be, that's back in the day where you go to the principal's office and then they call your parents and they're like, hey, your kid's screwing up in class. And I really don't think if it was a Christian parent or a non-Christian parent, your rear end is probably going to be grass when your parents have to come down to the school because you didn't keep your mouth shut in class. I really don't think it's something to be proud of your child. Now, I'm not talking about a obvious injustice. We're not going to bring up all the exceptions. Obviously, there's many things where you should stand up and speak up. But yeah, just doing this stuff to interrupt, no, you're not being a good kid. You're not teaching your kid to be a good kid. You're teaching your kid to be a disruptive brat. And that's what everybody's going to think, including the principal, is, oh man, this disruptive brat is back in my office again because they're interrupting the science class.
And then again, like I'm gonna say it again. There's no hate like Christian love.
Yeah. They're doing it in love. They're doing it in love, Brainless. That's what he said. We're not doing it to be jerks. We're doing it out of Christian love. So there you go. It's whitewashing being a jerk because they're not being a jerk. They're being loving by interrupting class for all the other students.
It's worth it if you save somebody's soul. What if somebody believes the terrible evolution lie and they go to hell because they believe the lie? I'm actually helping them by interrupting their education and keeping them from learning. I wonder if people like this have ever heard of Plato's Cave. Like, I know we talked about it a little bit earlier as a joke, but it's a real thing it's a real analogy that Plato constructed about education. And creationists are the quintessential resident of Plato's Cave that have only seen the shadows dancing on the wall and don't know about the real world of sunlight. And it's really ironic.
And this goes against what they'll say too, because they'll say you need to pay attention and learn what evolution is to argue against. And then they'll turn right around and they'll say, no, don't bother learning it and disrupt class. And it's like, well, see, again, they're full of crap either way, right?
But I do think that most of them actually think that they are helping and that they're doing a good thing, because that's how indoctrinated they are. They don't even see how bad it is. That's
why I'm pointing out that this guy is to blame. I'm not blaming the kids, because Again, I pointed out, the
They-
people
they've
under
been-
thumb or been fooled and everything, we're not picking on them. We're picking on this guy that should know better because he's gone to the schools and he has the access to the information to know better.
They've been socialized that way. They've been socialized not only to think that, God is evil. They've been, or not God is evil, that evolution is evil. They've been socialized to ignore issues in religion. They've been socialized not to question the religion. They've been socialized not to ever express the fact that they're shocked by anything they hear from the Bible. Like if you bring up Deuteronomy 22:10 through 20 or whatever, the verse that's all about stoning a woman for not bleeding on her wedding night, they will not be shocked and horrified and revolted by that like a lot of atheists are, because their socialization is so different. Their socialization says, I can't accept that that's evil and horrible because, the Bible. So even if I can't come up with a reason why it's okay, and I'll try to come up with a reason. I'll say, that's justice, or that's a woman trying to steal a man's property through dishonesty, and nobody who was innocent would have died. They were spiritually, they weren't virgins. They'll come up with stuff like that. Even if you can't come up with something, you can just say, mysterious ways. We don't have to know. And they've been socialized to do things that way.
Hey, Deconverted Man, you got any final words there before you drop out?
Yeah, I gotta get going. Not 100%. Sleep's been all over the place and whatnot, but I'd say that we could combine like the idea that teachers should be allowed to carry guns in with this this whole standing up thing. That way it's like oh yeah, no, you remember you said you wanted teachers to carry guns, right? Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay. By the way, also, if your kid stands up and interrupts class, remember the teacher is carrying a gun. They will shoot. And then they'll be like, but no, you gave us what we wanted, but also no. All right, there's the solution. All right, peace out, everyone. Goodbye.
Get well
all right,
soon.
Deconverted Man. Thanks.
And can we call it what it is? Not socialized, brainwashed.
Well, brainwashing is a form of socialization. They're the same thing, basically.
And Titan Uranus is in the chat. Hello, Titan. Good to see you.
It's a very extreme, high control version of socialization, usually accomplished by an extremely dominant primary group that has virtually total control over the person experiencing the brainwashing's life. But it is still just a form of socialization, right? It's very extreme, but it's still socialization. That's cult socialization is a big part of how they get people in the group. You have to be socialized into, and it feels good at first. You feel like you're being recognized, like a new group of friends is welcoming you in, and then you don't realize the sinister and ulterior motives they have until you're sunk in too deep a lot of the time. And at least that's what they hope for.
Yeah, that's what I just pointed out in one of the videos I just made on that Christian talking about a cult, and it's like, can you believe these people believe this stuff? And it's like, well, check your own book, I mean, you can be indoctrinated into such a selective thing that, something equally as ridiculous you can obviously see, but for you and yours, your ridiculous isn't ridiculous. That's even how deep it'll go. That it's not that you're blind to it. You're looking at another cult and you're going, oh, look at those idiots over there. They're worshiping a rock. We're over here worshiping a stick. Why don't they know better? It's just so ridiculous.
It goes beyond that from just religion into every form of social expression there is, right?
Yeah, and
religion, government, just the way people behave in general.
Yeah.
Like in India, you wouldn't think anything at all of two men walking down the street holding hands. They are probably just heterosexual male friends. There's nothing abnormal about that. Here in America, if you hold a male friend's hand or hug them or cuddle with them or, you know, lay on next to them, that would definitely have a completely different implication.
Oh, I had a buddy that worked that used to drive the boss nuts. So every day when he left, he used to say, "Goodbye, sweetheart. I'll see you later."
You're right.
And I would say, "Goodbye, dear," you know, and the boss was over there just rolling his eyes, you know. And of course, you know, there is a deep psychological thing and everything going on, you know, that's serious on how people are manipulated. But just from an outsider, though, it just seems like utter nonsense. And it's not to discount, you know, people that, you know, have fallen into these things, because it is. There is a way to be manipulated, and these folks do know how to do it, and they take advantage of it and abuse it. And we've got Brainless Steel gifting 5 captive desk memberships, because Brainless is just that freaking awesome. And we've got the mighty Filbert, I Killed Earl, Project Nihilist, Scott Duke, and Tilting Windmill receiving a membership from Brainless Steel.
There
And
you go.
you get
Enjoy.
Let's rock with the fire in our veins. Rock on till the skies fill the thunder and rain. All hail Bigfoot, the legend, the king. He walks among shadows, the wild spirits sing.
I like how it works with the, you know, with the message down below. It you know, it does the Bigfoot pointy thing, and then you get to look down below and see who it's saying you rock to.
That's right. I'm getting it together here. And Brainless, thank you very much. You rock.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And everybody enjoy those emojis, as well as you get previewed videos. I release them. You get them 24 hours before anybody else does. Mm-hmm. And there's also other things going on. And we'll get together with some member streams and, you know, things like that. And mostly, though, we've got the best emojis around. I mean, we've got Bigfoot emojis. We've got answers in atheism on toast. I mean, come on, folks. Where are you going to find answers in atheism on toast other than here at the captive desk, right?
Nowhere.
And our recent addition is our bottle of Spray Away, or Spirit Away. It's a spray bottle that you can spray away all those gods or boogeymen that are bothering you. So feel free to.
That's useful.
Jer's dropping it right there. Spirit Away. Spray them away, and no more worries, right? They just disappear like they weren't even there in the first place. It's amazing.
Wouldn't get quite that kind of response, and so it was, you know, I guess something I'd say caught my attention a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So you grew up in a relatively non-religious home. You were being educated to the fact, or it would be presented as fact, that there's no God, that science is the ultimate explainer, I guess, in the sense of everything happened now.
Yeah, he's kind of given the look like, no, my parents didn't say that, right? That you were raised in a home that to hate God, and science has all the answers.
Science is everything and everywhere at all times.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the look on his face like, oh, yeah, that's how my parents were. They were just awful, just drilling that atheism into my head. I just don't see it. No, sorry, that's a fail. What was her name? Lana, I think.
Jana.
Jana. Okay. Yeah, no, Jana.
And again, your fact and reality of the situation, sorry, Dave, I hate to interrupt you, is that science is agnostic about God. It's not anti-God. It's not pro-God. You can't prove or disprove that a God exists. Some scientists think you can. Some scientists think you can't. But we just leave it completely off the table. Science doesn't say one way or another if God exists. It just hopes to understand the natural world, by collecting as much data and evidence as possible and testing our interpretations of what that data and evidence means as well as we can. It does not say that if there is a God, it doesn't say who that God probably is, if there is one. It doesn't say that it is or isn't the Christian God. It doesn't say it's Satan. It doesn't say it's Odin. It doesn't say anything about God or gods. That's not what science. If you want to hear somebody try to make intellectual statements about God, you need to go to philosophy. That's where they do it.
Oh my god. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Fucking Icarus. Agrok is that true? Oh my fucking.
I will point out.
That's a good one. That's fucking funny.
You all can go back to, I think it's the second video I ever put on my channel, talking with Adam, who was studying some kind of nuclear physics things, I believe, in Israel, okay? The Holy Land, okay? And he said exactly what Austin said. They're doing their experiments. They're not, that God doesn't come into the picture. And he's working with people that are of all different religions, all working together in the same place. And he said, oh yeah, we had, all different religions there, but it doesn't come up because we're doing our experiments, right?
Yeah.
And we have another new member. Jester is now a member. Thank you, Jester, very much.
Woohoo!
And Jester gets... Thank you, Jester, and welcome.
Yeah. Naturally, there was no need for a God. You were buying into that, but yet you were feeling a little tension there with regard to the way that the teacher was responding to any kind of critique or even question, just a question about that perspective. So you said you were around ninth grade there. Was that a time, you said that you had believed what you were being taught in science class. Were you identifying at all as an atheist or as an agnostic or anything along those terms?
I guess you'd say
At that age,
doesn't this lady kind of give soft touch or softer Rebecca Davis vibes?
Yes.
Definitely a preacher's wife vibes. Yeah.
I was totally thinking that, Scott. And I was not only thinking that, I was thinking about how sometimes I feel like I want to dive into the conspiracy worldview. Because if there is a bunch of lizard people on the planet, we're looking at two of them. These two are definitely lizard people.
Oh my fucking god. Somebody literally made a Grok account and is responding to
All right, what's Grok? We don't know what Grok is.
Grok is the AI on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
And you can at Grok if you want to fact check something or get information or have it explain something.
And just like every other child Elon has, it has disowned him. It is woke. Grok has awoken.
Yeah, Grok is gonna have to be renamed to Grok because he's so woke. Just like our new Pope. Apparently, he's the woke Pope, if you will.
Yeah, he's just too woke. I heard. Yeah,
you can't call him.
He must be doing something
Many
right.
of his priests are doing that to children.
We discussed it last week or whatever, right after he was nominated or elected. However, he must be doing something right because they called him woke right away. And so if they're calling you woke, I guess there's something good about you.
Yeah, but that does mean that fans probably needs another trip to the Vatican. Never mind.
And we've got all kind of emojis dropping in the chat. Thank you very much, folks. Enjoy the emojis. That's what they're for.
You know what's interesting is after having taken sociology courses in college for the first time, I now know exactly what woke means to me. Woke just means you're not an ethnocentrist. Woke means you don't see things in an ethnocentric viewpoint. You don't see your culture as the primary one, as the right one, as the normal one. You have a multicultural perspective. You see that there's different ways that all different kinds of cultures do things, and no specific one is the right one or the wrong one. They're all just different.
Well, if you're not woke, what are you? Not awake?
Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm proud to be not awake.
If you're not woke, you basically are just an ethnocentrist. You think that specific culture that you were raised in is the right one, is the normal one, is the center one, and everybody else is weird or wrong.
The new pope is woke. Old popes are sleeping.
I was listening to part of a conversation. I don't know the names of the two people that were in the conversation. The lady had some weird looking glasses on though. And the other guy was brown. But then there's been clips circulating from this discussion on the internet the last couple of days, but he was explaining like how conservatives generally view like the left. And he was talking about how, well, the left just focuses way too much on identity politics, and they want everyone else to, get this and to get that. And we just see it as, well, but what are they going to take away from us to give all these people what they want? Because that's the way they look at it. Other people getting what white people have always had access to is interpreted in the framework of something's being taken from me and given to somebody else, which is not at all what's happening.
A privilege.
And this always comes back to a phrase that I remember seeing someplace like a decade ago that is so succinct, yet it's just so perfect. When you are accustomed to privilege, equality will feel like oppression.
Yeah.
Spot on.
An atheist that went to school where, and again, I always just kind of like hung out in the back of the classroom, type of thing. And so I'm sitting in back, and again, you're getting a lot of pressure at that point, that.
Uh-oh.
Dave, you're muted if you're talking.
Oh, sorry. Once again, he said he's sitting in the back of the classroom, not paying attention, but he goes to MIT. The stories don't seem to mesh. You know what I mean?
I really want to make a joke, but I don't know how racy we're allowed to get on this channel. Hey, how do you think the frat boys get in? Their mom's doing some favors. Ronnie's mom's going to talk to the dean of Harvard today. Get Ronnie in there.
I'm guessing most of them get in because a grandparent or parent or some other really close relative was an alumnus. That's how I got invited to Harvard. I got really good grades and everything, but I don't really think there's anything that special about me that it warranted an invitation to Harvard. But my grandfather was a professor there, so I got invited.
I just, like I say, every time he talks about something, it's just like, really? You know what I mean? I just keep wanting to say, really? Really? I just don't believe anything you're saying, man. Nothing at all. And he doesn't even have a good poker face or anything else. He has zero camera or stage presence or anything else. There's and the look he's given when she's saying things was kind of bewildered, and I'm just not buying it at all. And then what he's trying to sell, that it just makes it that much more unbelievable and really bothering me that anybody's actually listening to him.
Not just that, Dave. The specific story he's telling, this is so common of a story, so common of a thread that it's basically become a meme. It literally is a meme, and that it is that meme that the God's Not Dead movies are based on. He is literally just copying the chain
evil professors.
Exactly.
What I see with this guy right here is, hi, I'm your generic white Protestant American wearing a button-up shirt with absolutely no background because I have no tech experience. I'm a Republican because I'm a bring about everything, and I'm here to talk to you today about Jesus.
Yeah.
An evolution.
Yeah.
They're the right thing to do. And so the guy behind me, you start out thinking, wow, what's what's up here? I don't know how to phrase it. His teeth were kind of falling out. He just had all kinds of stuff going on. But then I started talking to him and realized that he was really smart. So he's intelligent, but he was totally buying into this, I guess we'll call it the atheistic lifestyle or the...
What?
Whose teeth were falling out? What the
Is
fuck
that why I got bad teeth?
Jesus Christ.
I mean...
Oh my God.
Here it's been because I'm an atheist. That's why I got to go to the dentist all the time. Oh man, I wish somebody would have told me. It could have saved me a lot of pain and agony with those broken teeth and stuff. I guess you become an atheist, your teeth just break. Who
We've
knew?
gone past ethnocentrist to 6-year-old. If you're an atheist, you have poopy, stinky poop mouth and dumb teeth and pee poo poo atheist, man.
I thought it was because I didn't brush all the time.
Yeah, we got Permanent Flux in the chat. Hello, Permanent Flux. Yeah, that's what I heard too, Brainless. That of course, my parents had insurance. My parents sent me to a top-notch orthodontics children's specialist dentist. I mean, this dude had all the DDS, ABCs, and XYZs past his name you could ever want in a dentist. And he told us, we used to get the fluoride treatments, and your teeth are going to be hard as a rock and all this. And yeah, they still fell out of my mouth. So some of us just have bad teeth. My brother and I had few health problems. I don't complain, unless my mouth really, really hurts. I don't complain about bad teeth because generally, very few health problems. But no matter what, and going to the top-notch dentist and everything else, my teeth fell apart. And I tell the dentist all the time, I give you a hard time and everything, and nobody likes the dentist, but I always tell them, I do appreciate you. You keep my choppers in my mouth, and worst comes to worst, like I have a few crowns and everything, they can be replaced. And worst comes to worst, you can get an appliance, you can still have teeth in your mouth, whereas a lot of other things are not like that. So
I have been very lucky to get through an entire mixed martial arts career without losing a single tooth. I know a lot of people that fought at the same time that I did who did.
Permanent Flux, just subscribe to the channel. Permanent Flux, welcome aboard. I hope everybody likes that. I kept saying woot woot when people joined, and I said, we need a video for when people subscribe and become a member, and you too can get the video played for you by subscribing and or becoming a member of the channel, and we'll drop that video because I made it just for you.
I love that all the AI songs you have on your videos are like fucking hard rock. Let's go, Dave. That's my shit.
We were just talking in Simos stream the other day. Simos grew up on Black Sabbath philosophy. And I said, oh, Simos, so did I. And somebody else in the chat says, you had me at Black Sabbath, and we were having like a little Black Sabbath reunion party on Simos stream the other day. It was awesome.
My office had a field day, and I brought my guitar in, and a couple other members of the office brought their instruments in, and we started jamming together, and we ended up playing like a whole set of Black Sabbath songs because all of us knew a lot of Black Sabbath songs. Like I knew War Pigs, I knew Iron Man, another person knew Electric Funeral. We ended up playing just like a whole set of Black Sabbath, and it was so fun. Everybody in the office was digging it. It was a lot of fun.
There was a day where I had every Sabbath album, and then my younger brother, kind of being because of the younger brother thing, he was more the Ozzy guy. So he had all the Ozzy albums, and I had all the Black Sabbath albums, so we had it covered from end to end.
I know a couple Ozzy songs too. Like I know Crazy Train and Bark at the Moon, and gosh, there's another one, No More Tears.
I saw Ozzy. When I saw Ozzy, we went and saw him because he was looking like Elvis. He was all bloated and everything. And we're like, oh no, it just ain't going to be long. So we all got together and we all went and saw Ozzy just in case. And it was a great insurance policy because he rebounded after that, and he went on for how many years? So.
Yeah, I heard his last show is coming up, and he's talking about he does his performances like completely seated now for the most part. And I heard that they're thinking about making it so that he's on like a satanic throne that's going to fly around the audience.
See, they had a chair. They had a chair for him when we saw him, and that's why we were concerned, because he was in a chair, and it was like it just was, Well, now he is, This was in the 80s, so more power to you, Ozzy. We never thought you would make it out of the 80s, and you did, my man. You did. You defied all the odds, and we got the ape. We got the ape dropping emojis, and feel free, folks. Drop the emojis at will. That's what they're there for, and we love the emojis.
The lifestyle that was being promoted promoted heavily by Hollywood and stuff. So he was very into drugs, and he came in one day. He was all banged up, and he said something like he was hallucinating the night before, and he jumped out of a car that was going. He said going about 40 miles an hour. He was just hallucinating, or he jumped out of the car, and he was all banged up. He was laughing about it and stuff, and I was like, well, that's it doesn't seem as great or as cool as it's being made out to be. And
no, it's pretty stupid, but it's we did a lot of stupid things when we were kids, and when we got older, there was some people did some stupid stuff when they were drinking, and it's not, again, unique to non-Christian kids or whatever, because pretty much we didn't identify like that. I mean, a lot of us went to church and stuff, and you just didn't say like you were an atheist and that's why you're out partying. It just didn't come up. I mean, the people went out and partied and people that didn't go out and party. And you know what? We hung out with a lot of the people that went to the Catholic schools at our parties. So I don't know what the dude's talking about.
I was going to say, what is this contention here? Is this contention that this person jumped out of a car because they're an atheist?
And they're partying.
Really unlikely to me. You've never done something just to see if you could do it, or to
what they say about those Catholic girls
to practice in case you do need to do it. Like, I have never jumped out of a car, but I've practiced ghost writing. I've practiced, a couple of cool little tricks here and there just in case I ever need to, and just because it's having fun, and just because I wanted to know if I could do it.
And I'll tell you, we didn't need alcohol.
Existed,
we didn't need alcohol for me to need my mother to clean up my skin knees or I mean, we did plenty of stupid stuff on skateboards and bicycles and everything without any drugs, no atheism or anything. It was just because we were kids, and that's, we had a bicycle, we had a board for a ramp. I mean, what are you going to do? Are you not going to jump it? Are you not going to jump the creek? I mean, come on.
I've done dumb things that could have gotten me hurt inside of a church before. Come on.
Sometimes some of the things, we wonder how we made it out alive. Seriously. I mean, just riding our bikes in traffic everywhere without bike lanes. You know what I mean? How did we ever survive?
Me and a good buddy of mine got really, really stoned before, because we grew up Catholic, so we had CCD or catechism every Wednesday. The Catholics will know exactly what I'm talking about. And before, we got really, 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 dude, we got baked as fuck. And we're only freshmen in high school, mind you. So, there was a mass that night, and because we were CCD, we were all sitting in the front. And we were laughing so hard that we had to be separated.
How long is this video, Dave? How much of it have we gotten through?
Oh, this is Saturday Night at the Atheist. We rarely get through a video.
I know, yeah.
Yeah,
But I'm
tons of mice
curious.
wants to know if my mother drank. My parents didn't really drink. We didn't have alcohol in the house. I had a bottle. They had a bottle of whiskey under the kitchen sink, and it had an inch of dust on it because the only time it came out is when somebody was stuffy, and my mom would make a hot, what she called a hot toddy, is hot lemonade, and put a shot of whiskey in it.
Okay, yeah.
And that bottle of whiskey lasted, I think, until I moved out of the house. I mean, it was like always there. So, yeah,
okay.
wasn't alcohol, wasn't a thing. I say when one of my aunts was coming over, there would be a beer in the refrigerator because she liked having a beer with dinner. So I knew my aunt and uncle were coming over because there was a beer, but my mom would buy like 1 or 2 beers, not even a 6-pack, just like some singles. And if my grandfather was coming over, there would be a Hershey bar in the refrigerator because my grandfather would get low sugar if he didn't eat, and he would need a couple pieces off a candy bar to get his sugar up. So I knew what relatives were visiting by the odd things that were in the refrigerator that we didn't normally have, like alcohol and chocolate bars.
Oh no, we had that around the house. Yeah.
But no, my parents didn't rarely drank, even like at a wedding and stuff. My dad would drink, but maybe my mom might have 1 drink, maybe. So it just, and of course she only needed a couple sips because she was such a lightweight and she'd be, ready for a nap anyways, So no, it wasn't, no, my mom had to deal with me sober. Including all the gray hairs I gave her when they brought home my bicycle and it stood up by itself and they said, "You need to go to the hospital. Your son just got run over by a van." I'm sure that was very hard on my mom because you don't know what happened until you get to the hospital,
Yeah.
Luckily, I was just skinned up, but yeah, I'm sure that was a rough day for my mom. And again, putting my mom through things, when I wasn't wiping out on my bicycle or getting stitches because I was, running into something or falling out of a tree or whatever I was doing. Then she had to go to the hospital, and then my mom had to deal with a lot, and it wasn't no atheism or alcohol involved. It was just being a kid, what we would call boys being boys, right? I mean, there's a tree. Are you not going to climb the tree? Right? No, I'm going to climb the tree.
Trees must be climbed, all of them.
Yeah, we had a high.
I had to have my school picture taken with like a big scab across my forehead and under my nose, and because my brother got mad at me. He bet me. He challenged me. He said, "I can outrun you on feet. I can outrun you on the bike." And of course, he didn't. As I was passing him, he got mad and pushed me onto the ground. I went over the handlebars, landed face first. Great. Yep. So no ER, no urgent care, just rub some dirt in it,
and you didn't need anything at all.
The pictures made.
You didn't need anything at all because we had those 10 speeds with the skinny tires. And if you just hit a driveway or a sewer the wrong way, the tire would bend and you'd go head over heels right off of the bike. I don't know how many wheels I bent. Those things were so flimsy. If you put the stress on it, if you didn't keep it straight, any stress on it, and it would turn into an S, and then just boom, there I was on the ground. It's like, what the hell happened? But again, though, even doing all that stuff, I didn't break bones or anything. We were pretty healthy. We bounced pretty good. So my brother did chip his tooth once, though. Came right down on the handlebars or something on his bicycle and face. What was he doing? Probably jumping a ramp or something. And when he came down, he kissed his handlebars, I think, and chipped his front tooth.
Hey, Scott, what time is Erica's thing starting? In about 15 minutes?
Somebody said it was just getting going.
Oh, it's already beginning. Where is it going down? Is it on the...
It's going down on Modern Day Debate.
Oh, modern day. Okay.
It says
debate
going, but
discussion.
nothing. Yeah.
She's running it on her channel through OBS or whatever that setup is. So it's dead air right now. You're just looking at a thumbnail. She came on briefly and kind of talked about what she was going to do, went back to her thumbnail. Still, she has 577 people viewing.
Yeah, of course.
Well, there you go, folks. See, you can hang out with us and no worries because
Yeah, but they start at 7.
we're going to be rolling here pretty soon, so it's not a worry.
Yeah, I might get going because I did tell her I was going to watch that. So,
Well, yeah, everybody wants to see that.
yeah.
But, we got to, we were hoping to get to what, the 22. I don't know if we're going to
It
make
was
it.
all centered around this idea of let's reject God, reject the Bible.
Is it 22 on this
embrace
video or a
atheism.
different video?
I don't know. It doesn't matter because this video's enough.
Yeah.
Right.
We know where he's coming from.
We can look at his evolution one another time because I've got 2 other videos and we haven't even, let's see. We've gotten to 9 minutes on this one.
This is the problem with reacting to creationist videos. They get so
Just got
much
worse and
stuff
worse.
wrong that even just commenting on 2 or 3 minutes of it.
We're just here having fun on Saturdays. If I want to dissect something, I'll make a video or we'll do a stream just on that. We do it plenty. When Mike and I gather on his channel. And, when we make our own videos, Austin, you take something down, you dissect it, you throw out all the citations and everything at it. We don't do that here. You know why? Because it just ain't worth it. Because this guy is last week, I think we scraped bottom. We officially scraped bottom of the barrel with the videos we were covering last week. So we have nowhere to go but up. Okay.
So what if there's a barrel underground underneath the barrel?
Well, if there is, I'll find it because I'm always looking.
I feel like I have pretty much. I feel like I have pretty much hit bedrock with the creationists. It's been months, maybe even years since I've heard something novel or creative from them. Their main core arguments don't really change at all. The only thing that really changes is the kinds of rhetorical flourishes they use.
Yeah, they'll
tons of
definitely change
mice.
up the artwork and the analogies, and every once in a while, a new person saying a new variation of the same thing will become a little more popular.
Tons of mice grew up around here, and they say they walked home carrying the 10-speed on Bancroft one day, stripped the spokes on the front wheel. Yeah, I've been there. Like I said, I don't know how many times I said, "Ma, you got to run me over to Sears. I need a wheel."
Oh fuck! I've had bicycle repair people get angry with me.
Well, like I said though, but the 10 speeds they're supposed to be what they call a touring bike or whatever. You're supposed to ride them, and you give a 10 speed to a kid. I mean, we're going to jump ramps with it and do wheelies with it. And we used to play basketball on our bicycles. Did you ever do that?
Yeah,
never did.
It's pretty intense, and you're guaranteed to get your legs shredded while you're playing it because everybody's bikes run into each other.
Right.
It was an insane game, but that's what we were doing. And again, I don't know how we survived playing basketball on our bicycles, but somehow we did.
I would have enjoyed, and I don't know why I never thought of it, jousting on my bike. Get a.
This may as well have been.
That'll break a couple of spleens. There might be some emergency room trips to be made, but that would have been fun.
We didn't have referees, so I mean,
referees.
A little nudging on the bicycles. It wasn't no referee to blow the whistle. So, we thought up a lot of those. Well, that's how I got the scar on my eyebrow. We were playing baseball with a basketball, and I went to hit the basketball with the bat, and instead of the basketball going that way, the bat came back this way, and I clubbed myself right across the forehead.
Yeah, that might have something to do with the fact that a basketball might be slightly heavier than the bat.
we were always doing something. If we had a ball, we were playing baseball with it, and somebody decided it was. And for a while, we were doing. I mean, we were playing for a little while, and you really had to hold the bat really good because it wanted to break your arms. When you, I just hit it the wrong way, and it came right back, kissed me. After that, we didn't play with the basketball anymore. But yeah, I still have the scar in my eyebrow to this day to remind me, don't play baseball with a basketball.
So this is interesting. What subject did you say the debate was supposed to be?
Something about evolution.
Yeah,
hominid
a hominid. Yeah, hominids.
Do the hominid fossils support evolution? And the guy cannot win against Erica. That. You just don't win against Erica on that. And so he's just going to try to change the subject.
That's what I thought. I think it might be listed on Modern Day Debate as a different subject.
Oh, what's the subject?
I don't know. I'm checking right now.
Yeah, because she's saying that's the agreed upon subject. So they've gone ahead and changed the agreed upon subject, and she might not even know. She needs to point that out. She says, "Okay, I will do this from the hip." Although she's got very experienced knowledge on all levels, so she could do it from the hip. But she needs to point out if they're changing the subject on her, the debate topic.
And Dr. Chris is supposed to be on at 8. So what are they?
It's something about transgender.
Oh, you know what? I think that might be what I have mixed up. Then, yeah. My bad. I got mixed up.
What?
Yeah, Erica's still blank.
Modern Day Debate was where Erica's debating.
My bad. Yeah, sorry.
I don't care. I'm going to walk on if I do.
They're still waiting. They're still waiting over there, so I don't know what's going on. We got Tilting Windmill Dead Bike jousted. Aunt Jer saw a basketball game on donkeys. Now there we go. Like I say, we were creative. We got bored. Yeah. We had to add some. You had to add some flair to them.
I was going to say I've done that.
Jousting with foam.
Yes. Yeah. So there's this thing called Dago hair or Belagard. It's basically LARPing, and you can use foam weapons, and you just use those to joust with. You get on a bike, and you go charging at each other with a Dago hair lance apiece, and you try and knock the other person off their bike.
Greg was doing it with industrial stilts.
To show the difference, they really didn't have foam implements when I was a kid. And you would just probably be using 2x4s or something like that.
Well, okay, so I say foam, but the weapons themselves, they'll probably be made out of PVC or some other kind of firm material. It's just wrapped to crap in foam so that it doesn't actually punch through you. I mean, is the idea. I guess it could still hit you in the eye and punch through you. There are areas where it could punch through.
I was the Shaq of basketball. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The kids don't do that because I bled all over the place. All I remember is being stunned for a minute, and then everything went red in my one eye because the blood started coming out of my eyebrow.
Yeah. Well, you're young. Your retina will repair itself.
Yeah, that I took care of that myself. That one didn't get stitches. I just butterflied that because my mom had to do so many stitches on me. Luckily, a bunch of the time she didn't have to because I just took care of it myself because I'm like, I don't need more stitches. I'll just butterfly it and it's good enough. So, my poor mother and my uncle too. I've told stories about my uncle. My uncle was very particular about his vehicles. And one of the time I busted my head open, I think, or something. He had to take me and my mom to the ER in his car, and he was not happy at all that I was bleeding in his car.
Worse, and then he stopped being in class, and I don't know what happened to him. Hope he was okay physically, but it was, but that was bad. Then
probably not. He was an atheist.
He
was doomed.
And she ended up getting pregnant, dropping out of school, and so
and pregnant too.
That, I was kind of trying to identify as the atheist with the connection of the just reject all Christian morality, everything associated with the Bible, but really starting to notice that again, it wasn't that great of a lifestyle like had been presented. And then also had some relatives that were really buying into atheism, but they were starting to, I won't say they were starting to kind of hate Christians. And so I was running a.
See, here we
I don't
go
know. It's a
again.
pretty good lifestyle for Bill Gates.
Yeah.
He's an atheist.
Well, he's pushing the hate, though, isn't he? Here it is again. Oh, these people are becoming atheists, and my friends and relatives, they're all starting to hate Christians now, too. They're all turning into demons. It's just, really?
Hey, real quick.
Like,
Real quick. It's not on Modern Day Debate tonight. It's going to be on Standing for Truth. Donnie Deals.
Of course.
Okay.
Well, another channel that disgusts me, so I'm going to be watching it on Gutsit Gibbons' channel. If it doesn't run right tonight, I'm gonna watch it when she posts the whole debate later. Like if she has to just not.
I've got her channel up, and it's up to 750 people, and there's nothing there. So way to pull them in. This is almost as good as when Wildheart fell asleep and he just left his camera on as he was sleeping in the chair. And people were picking on him, and he said, "Laugh all you want. It's one of my most watched videos." Views are views, buddy. Views are views.
Car once, and we're driving along and see a John 3:16 sign. Which again, I didn't find at all offensive. I don't know if I knew what the verse was at that point, but I didn't. I was like, okay, guy wants to put John 3:16 on his front yard, fine. Then another sign was repent, and well, my relative just said, this is horrible. We need to find his house and burn it down.
What? Again? What?
You lost me. Yeah.
The relative sees a John 3:16 sign, which I'm guessing would be in their yard, and we should find their house and burn it down.
This is a relative of his. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, this isn't a kid saying this. This is like a relative now.
Family, and one of them's an atheist, or at least doesn't like John 3:16 signs, and so he's concluding that all atheists are this way.
Yeah.
Is that where he's coming from? Is the only atheist you ever talked to his Uncle Biff or something?
The one uncle that you shouldn't talk to, that you should really not be alone with either. Come on, this is baloney, right? This is why I wanted to look at this video, and it doesn't matter we don't get through all of it because it's all the same crap. The point is, it's like, you got to be kidding me. Yeah, this is as bad as watching a God's Not Dead movie. This guy is full of baloney, and that's what I wanted to point out. Covering this guy.
Do you think he got his view of atheists and his attitude about atheists from Kevin Sorbo?
Yeah,
absolutely. I don't think any of these things ever happened. I don't think the dude fell out of the car. I don't think the girl got pregnant. I don't think the kids stood up in class. None of that. Absolutely.
Nobody said, let's burn down that person's house just because they're Christian.
No, I don't believe a word he has said this entire time, other than he always liked science and space. That's the only thing I believe, because he did go into that field. So I've got to assume, okay, since you were a kid, you wanted to be a scientist and you became one. That is it. Beyond that, everything else he said is made up baloney, and it's like I say, it's Ray Comfort, low brow. Oh yeah, I just sat next to a scientist at lunch one day and I owned him, and it's like, sure you did.
Conservative
on a subject that they're not a scientist in.
Yeah.
No, but also like him.
But he's an engineer.
When he knew someone that was that got pregnant, or somebody that jumped out of a car. It might have happened, but hell fucking no, it didn't happen because they were atheists. It fucking happened because they were stupid, dumb teen.
Yeah, there was some, we had a dude in a neck brace because he dove into a shallow swimming pool, right? I don't think it ever came up, oh, it's because he was an atheist. You know what everybody said?
Because he's an idiot.
Dummy dove into a shallow pool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he did that because he was an atheist. Come on, we all know that.
No, he did it for the same reason somebody else I know injured his neck trying to impress a girl, you know. Often us guys, and well, I shouldn't just say us guys, often us folks that are attracted to somebody have these things start flowing in our bodies called hormones, and they kind of turn off your brain for a minute.
Yeah.
And you'll do something like think that you're going to do a dive off the picnic table like you saw the Olympics do the triple flip spin around, and you're going to go in without a splash into the backyard pool. And you know what? No, you're probably going to break your neck. And that's what happened. But at the time, though, you know, hold my beer, right? It seemed like a good idea. No, it wasn't. And yeah, I know somebody else, was trying to impress a girl, and but it was at a quarry, and missed what do you call it? Didn't guess the jump right, you know, because you had to clear just right, you know. So he ended up in a neck brace. And why did you do that? Well, two things: alcohol and women, and it's like. Yeah, okay. Now I know why you did it, right?
I wonder how common broken arms are in like elementary age and junior high age
super common.
Kids these days compared to like back in the 60s and 70s. I'll bet if you adjust for population, I'll bet there were a lot more back in the 60s and 70s.
Well, I know we didn't have helmets, we didn't have knee pads, we didn't have elbow pads.
This is anecdotal, but I'm a little bit on the younger side, and I had kids, and every year there was at least one student who had a broken leg or broken arm, or more than one. So, it's still common. Still happens.
Yeah, you fall just the right way. It doesn't. Friend of mine from high school, she had a thing recently. I think she said she went her whole life without a broken bone. Yeah, she tripped and fell and snapped her arm, but good. They had to put pins and screws and everything else in it, put it back together.
Yeah, I was that kid once or twice.
And that's what I say. We were taking tumbles all the time, falling out of trees, climbing on garages, roofs, and jumping off. We thought we were indestructible. And for the most part, me and my friends, we were pretty half rubber. We survived it all pretty good, other than a few stitches. So we were pretty lucky. But we knew people that did plenty of stupid things. Yeah, they were in leg casts, arm casts, neck braces, knocked teeth out. We were playing catch touch football the one day, and a couple of guys I knew ran right into each other, and the one bit the other one right in the forehead. So the one had to go get his head taken care of because he got bit, and the other one had to get his teeth taken care of because he broke his teeth when he bit his his head.
Oh fuck!
And that was just playing touch football. I mean, you just don't pay attention for 1 minute, and you run into each other. So.
Yeah, that's
the thing, all the stupid stuff we were doing, and when we were playing touch football is probably one of the times when somebody got hurt the worst of all the stupid things we did,
I was a mixed martial artist as a young man, so if we start getting into all the injuries and wounds, we'll be here all night. But I think the worst one was just my nose. Once you've had your nose broken once, it breaks easier. And I think I've broken my nose like over a half dozen times at this point.
Let's see. We'll do the Greta check here. We don't have anything here, so I don't know what happened or what's going on. But we got the Orge here, or is that an org? Is it an org or an orge?
It looks like a misspelled ogre.
Good to have you here. They were over on Mike's, and they came over here on mine. Hello, good to have you over here.
Yeah, that's Orge 343. He used to frequent us whenever we would stream more, and he's just been all over the Atheist network.
All right,
for years.
Yeah, Mike isn't joining us because he is at the theater tonight.
Yeah.
And enjoying some time, I believe, with his sons, maybe. And he was also out all week sending us photos of the view he had. He was out in the wilderness, enjoying the outdoors and everything. So he's kind of on vacation this week. But yeah, Mike's running the stream over there because, of course, we do have Scott with us, and Scott is often on with Mike at Answers in Atheism, so we're streaming over there as well.
Okay. Yeah, I was in the theater last week.
Yeah. And what time is it? Yeah, it's 8. So we'll give him a couple more minutes here, and we'll wrap things up. And hopefully, if that's not going on, we can check out Dr. Chris. So one way or another, there'll be a debate on.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's, because it wasn't again, I'm just like, well, why would we want to do that? So it wasn't, I was kind of identifying, but I really was starting to recognize it. And again, wasn't making the connections. But I was like, but this is a really, not I guess not the philosophy, not the religion that I'd really want to have. The idea of being atheist or agnostic, but I hadn't put that together yet. But just noticed it wasn't all that it was cracked up to be.
Yeah.
He's making it like, again, and I don't know. See how he ended it with like with this face thing. It's just like it seems like he made it up. He's not credible at all. And this idea of this atheist club just didn't sound like I wanted to join because it sounded so awful and everything. And it's like no, these things didn't happen. I cannot believe these things happen, or that he ever thought this certain group is just the atheists, right?
I think he's basically saying he's not an atheist. He's become religious because his friends in school, he had bad friends in school who were atheists, or at least not religious.
I think he's just making up a story. I think when he got into college, something happened to him in college, and all the rest of this is like a backstory he's made up to fill in. And I haven't figured out exactly what happened, but it seems like something happened to him in college, and it made him, need to find, some comfort in religion.
Or maybe he fell for a chick who was very religious, so he had to get into that as well to try and get with her.
Lee Strobel.
And now he's salty that he didn't get with her.
Yeah, Lee Strobel. I used to be an atheist until I investigated, and until you met this girl at church. That's when you weren't an atheist anymore. And I'm not saying anything about the man's heart or anything. I wouldn't pretend to. But like I pointed out earlier, we did dumb stuff when girls were around. And speaking of those 10 speeds with the thin tires, I used to ride mine through the snow if there was a party somewhere where there were girls. I could have broke my neck easily doing that. So, what I was thinking actually, Brainless, was like maybe a heartbreak, right? Maybe he had a heartbreak, and that's where he needed, somebody to turn to.
And then they preyed on the weak and lonely.
Because otherwise, because he's not saying like he was at a religious school or he was in this religious environment. He didn't say any of that. Like Ed pointed out earlier, so, some kids are in this environment. But he wasn't saying this. He was saying basically he was, regular kid going to regular public school. You know what I mean? There's no, that he started out saying his parents weren't really religious or anything. So he's not getting the indoctrination. He's not getting the, the peer pressure or any of that. So, this thing just seems to be, something happened to him when he went to college. And I'm betting it's something has nothing to do whatsoever with the science or anything. It has to do with, a personal issue.
So I'm going to get going. I got to use the restroom, and it sounds like we're kind of wrapping up here a little bit. So
Yeah,
I want to
it has begun.
give
It has?
y'all
All right.
three points just to remember before we go, because I think
All right.
generally it's easiest for people to just remember somewhere from 1 to 3 points. Point one, this guy is not a quality resource. This guy, he is just regurgitating basically creationist memes, and his story doesn't sound particularly true. So that's the first one, is I don't believe what he's saying, and I don't think you should either. Two, even if it is true, that doesn't mean anything about evolution. Evolution is real. It exists. It's a scientific fact. It's the change in the heritable characteristics of populations of living organisms over time. Him having a pushy or, closed-minded science teacher doesn't change that. And three, if you want to actually know how evolution works and how it's supported, you don't go on the internet, you go to the scientific community. So if you want to really learn evolution, don't listen to this guy. Don't even listen to any of us. Go to the scientific community. Go to NCBI. Go to the website for the National Institute of Health. Go to Evolution 101. There are sources that are available that are good for this on the internet, but nothing is better than a good old-fashioned just going to college and taking a Bio 101 course or a biochem course or something that's actually relevant to evolution, unlike engineering. So those would be the three main points I think you should take from this video. And with that, thank you so much for the birthday wishes, and thanks for having me on. I'm going to get going so I can use the restroom and head over to Erica's stream. I think everybody else should join me on that and support her, because she's great, and creationists need to be countered. They are spreading anti-intellectualism. They are spreading political culture war bullshit that prevents us from addressing major issues that the planet faces, like erosion of democracy, loss of biodiversity, climate change, pandemics. They're basically on the wrong side of every single one of those issues. So
absolutely,
do what you can to fight it. And thanks so much for being here and listening to us.
And before you go, everybody say hi to Intrepid Chimp. Welcome.
Hey, Chimp.
Thanks for stopping by. Feel free to subscribe. And
he said he did earlier.
Okay, good deal. And then, we're here every Saturday. So every Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern, we gather here with Saturday Night at the Atheists, and you'll never know who's going to be here. Like tonight, we had Austin joining us. We had Leo joining us. We always have different folks join us, as well as our regular folks like Brainless, Mike, Scott, and Simos. But some of them couldn't be here tonight, but that's okay. Other folks dropped in, and that's all great because we love to have all the viewpoints, and we get international input here, which is greatly appreciated because it's not just the American vision. We got we get the opinions from over. We had Mark Reed here earlier. He's literally on the other side of the world. Brainless is partly on the other side of the world, and so is Simos, as well as the rest of us are spread across the country from Minnesota to Texas to Ohio. We've got folks in LA. We've got folks in Iowa. We've got folks in Florida, all kind of folks that join us here, all kind of viewpoints, and we welcome them all, as well as in the chat. And we appreciate everybody that joins in the chat and joins in the discussion every week. And hello, Ryan. How you doing? Speaking of Ryan also great channel, does a lot of great content. You can also catch Ryan on with Chris in the mornings over in the Damn Network. And there's all kind of great folks in the community. Make sure you go it around, support everybody, subscribe to their channels, watch some of their videos, give them some watch time hours. All that's really appreciated by everybody. And again, Austin, I hope you have an awesome birthday this week. Have a nice big piece of cake or whatever you're going to do. And enjoy yourself. And Brainless, as always, thank you. And Brainless, you can often find hanging out over there with Slim Cyborg, as well as on a few other channels. You got anything going on, Brainless, or is it the usual?
The usual. Probably Slim's probably going to be setting up some streams for next week, and we're going to be probably having fun. Might be making fun of MAGA, flat earthers. Wednesday, usually news thingies like science and technology related. So, yeah, it's always a lot of fun. And on Fridays on my Parrot's channel, we quite often do gaming streams. Just playing.
And there's Commander. Hello, Commander.
Oh, hey, Commander. Yeah.
You'll often find Commander. Commander not only has their own channel, but we see them often over on Slim Cyborg's channel. And like I said again, check the description for everybody's channels. You've got Slim Cyborg. I got Austin's link down there. We've got Ways to Human, because once again, before we go, let's all give AJ a congratulations for becoming a citizen of the United States this week. That's AJ over at Ways to Human. Their link is also in the description. Go show them some love too. I was on over with AJ about a week or so ago. Great discussion, great content over there as well. And everybody else's links are in the description as well. Mike and Scott, Answers in Atheism, another great channel. And Scott, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining me. Scott joined me on the Night Watch as well, and it's always great to have you, Scott.
Well, it's great to be here. I love engaging with all these fine atheists, and if they cannot be rude and call names, the Christians too.
Yeah, I know. You guys knock it off. Jeez, evil atheists just hating on everybody, and I don't know what's going on. Knock it off. And I think it's absolute nonsense.
Don't like say things like, "Oh, it's good to see that Leo Filius finally had his balls dropped." That's not relevant. I'm gonna erase that. Number two, don't Bible bomb. Don't throw scripture verses all over the side chat. That just makes noise, and usually you're not engaging with the topic. Number three, no preaching. No threatening people with hell. No telling people how great Jesus is. You're usually not engaging with the topic when you do that, and it just crowds everything up. And I can't find the real people who are actually engaging. So that's my standard. That's my value.
And the Intrepid is dropping the link there. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Their channel. Yeah, why not just go check them out? See if it's something for you.
There it is.
I reshared it, so it's clickable.
Thank you very much. All right, Intrepid subscribed.
Yeah.
And don't forget to subscribe to my channel while you're here. And hit the like button and share it to somebody that might be interested in these kind of conversations. Again, we keep it lighthearted here Saturday night at the Atheists. We're just looking to show that we can be real people too and just hang out and have a good time. And yes, we often talk about creationist topics because that's what we do. We talk about evolution and Big Bang a lot because it's brought up a lot by people like the person we were covering tonight that are rolling around to churches and other organizations, wherever they may be, like Ken Ham and all the rest of them, and they're spreading this stuff. So there has to be a counter to it. And even though they keep saying a lot of the same stuff over and over, they keep telling it to different people. So we got to keep repeating it over and over. And instead of taking it too seriously, because there's plenty of content all over YouTube, including our Austin here, he'll do the science. Okay. You want the science? He'll do it. We do that on Mike's channel. Mike does a lot of research. He knows a lot of stuff. We do those things. When we're here though, I'm looking for videos that are just like smaller channels and people like this guy that just are really terrible at doing interviews or making videos. And it's just entertaining to get together and just have a few laughs and point out that how ridiculous it is. And if anybody's listening, It's ridiculous, okay? Don't listen to these people. Why would you, okay? Go to a biologist, all right? If you want to know biology, go, like Austin said, take a class. If you can't afford it, you know what this great thing is? It's called the internet. And on the internet, including here on YouTube, there are free college courses. They may be a few years out of date, but most of the stuff is good enough for free, okay? For free. Thousands and thousands of dollars people have paid for these classes. You can get them from top schools like Yale, and I think one of the big ones in, was it Stanford, or one of those big ones out on the West Coast? They put out lectures for free, okay? You have no excuse anymore. If you're online asking me, explain evolution, then you've got the means to click on that, take the free course and learn it. Or if you have the ability, go to the school like Austin's doing, learn it. Otherwise, you're going to keep asking me. We're just going to kind of make fun of you, because it gets to the point where it's getting ridiculous. We've all mentioned it's getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
We know the arguments by heart. You younger folks also listen. These are not new arguments. They've been around forever, okay? You repeating them again from some Hawaiian shirt guy or ham said 50 years ago, guess what? They're still saying it 50 years later, and we've been hearing it for 50 years. It's nothing new at all, okay? So either get something new, or don't think that it's all that because you just found a 50-year-old argument.
Talking about creationists is less about the science of evolution. There is no debate in reality. Evolution is a scientific fact. Creationism is religion. When we're talking about creationists on here, really more what we're doing is a niche sociology lesson. We're being amateur sociologists, and we're kind of
we're doing the regular folk thing here.
Sociocultural phenomena.
And Intrepid Chimp dropping a subscription on both channels, and one more time just because.
Oh, sorry, I was headbanging.
We'll get the hair out. We'll get it going here. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard, and we've got the little intro tune there for folks now, because I had to do some. I was saying, I think just last week I've been saying, hey, thank you, woot woot woot. I said I need something for folks when they join, so we have it now. I also have another one that I made up, but it didn't come up because we didn't get that far in the video. But I've got another little fun video coming up because of something that I heard just one too many times. And because it didn't come up tonight, I'm going to play it anyway. So here's a preview for you, because I know for a fact this is going to come up again, because I just heard it right before the show with Patrick Peace bringing it up, somebody we've covered before. And in his new video, he brought up this very thing, and it just hit me on my last dang nerve for the last time. So here's how we're going to respond to it in the future.
No.
Okay, so you've been forewarned. Next time I hear Romans 1:20 about the invisible things that I can't see, that's what you're getting, because I'm tired of being blamed for the invisible things that I can't see. Really, seriously, it's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard in my life. It's the gotcha for atheists, for everybody. They all bring it up. Romans 1:20's got you, buddy. And I'm like, no, it's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life, that I can't see the invisible things. And with that, thank you, everybody, for joining us. Everybody go check out Greta. Appreciate everybody being here. And we'll see you next time here at Saturday night at the Atheists.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Love ya.
silent echoes in the halls, books and stories on the floor, knocking at